Islam, Moors. Face the east. 5 on the left, 2 on the right. Allah, the Father of the universe. Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation. By night and by day, to our holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Islam. Islam. We're out here.
I'm ready to build.
We're out here.
I've been quiet for years.
Yeah, we know.
Islam. Let's get our readings. We read every meeting. Friday, January 15, 1929. Prophet warns all Muslims, governors ordered to read proclamation at each meeting. I hereby inform all members that they must end all radical, agitating speeches while at work, in their homes, or on the streets. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards at Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be of severe consequence. We are for love, truth, peace, freedom, and when these principles are violated, justice must then take its course. Any member or group of members who hold malicious feelings toward the temple or the prophet, or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement, will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors will and must obey the law as laid down to them by their prophet. If they lose confidence in their prophet, they should turn in their card and button, cease wearing their turban and fez, and return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the prophet Noble Drew Ali, and if the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet, therefore, is sending out a divine plea to all Moorish Americans that they do their part in protecting their prophet and the temple. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sinful ways. Noble Drew Ali. Islam. To be proclaimed at every meeting. Islam. I am glad to know that I have a few faithful Moors among you all, and I desire for them to know the truth and the divine truth. There is a host of jealousy about me and the movement now, by the same people of our side of the nation that claimed that I was only a joke and unreal. But now, since they have found out from the government officials and the nations of the earth that this is the only sole foundation that all Asiatics must depend upon for their earthly salvation as American citizens, they are working every scheme that they can to disqualify me so they may take charge of the situation. I have notified all these things to you long ago in the past. It is through the faithful Moors that attribute to the movement and uplifting funds. The ones that paid their divine respect to me and the movement will be remembered. That is why I am calling upon all faithful Moors to increase their faithfulness to me, your prophet, and your divine Moorish movement. I need finance and I need it badly. Never before have I needed finance so badly as I do at present, so I can shove aside the discord that is facing the nation, my fame and nobility. The nations of the world will not recognize the movement without I, the prophet, being head. It has been proven by my works which I have performed in the past few years. Prophet Noble Drew Ali. To the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America, Islam, this is the instruction from your Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Be faithful unto your forefathers' divine and national creed, that you would be blessed for your good deeds that you sow in the flesh. Allah is the one that judges the world, and his judgment is now on, but the weak can comprehend it not. The end of time is drawing near. So says Allah to his divine prophet, I, Noble Drew Ali. And that's why many hearts have been turned to stone. Many have eyes to see, but cannot see, ears to hear, but cannot hear, lest they will be confounded of their sins. These are trying hours now, dear Moors, and every evil spirit is moving, and they are trying every weak mind to overthrow and drag out the true foundation that has been laid, and to cause confusion in the minds of the ones that do believe. But if you have the true love of Allah and the spirit of your forefathers, you fear not what you hear or see, but would sacrifice the utmost of your very life to protect your movement and your prophet. Watch your enemies, dear Moors. Your enemies are the ones that speak against your prophet and ridicule him to the very lowest, and the ones that speak against your divine and national principles of your temples. Act accordingly, and Allah would bless you for your good work. Peace, your divine prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Islam. Peace to all the Moors. Honors to you for being here. I had a little plan and all that, but because of the numbers, I think we'll just open up the floor for questions. And if anybody has anything to add in with the answers, feel free to say your piece. So we'll just open up the floor, and any questions, you can shoot those out as many as you have. Islam, Moor.
We see so many different temples, different Moors moving different ways. What was the original process of the Moors when they proclaimed their nationality with the Prophet?
Well, when we go into the when in the oral statements, it talks about all these different nationalities that were assisting the temple, whether they were joining, whether they were financially supporting or whatever. From what I'm understanding, based on the Moorish Holy Temple of Science, this is the proclaiming of the nationality is for the civic part of this, and then the religion and whatever else is stuff that you get as you go on. You're going into the temple. Back then, keep in mind nationality card, changing in your pocket, things like that. So you have your nationality and identification card, which again lets you know that this is bigger than a temple or whatever, because why would a temple be giving out nationality and identification cards to the members? So there's more to the membership than just YMCA or whatever, right? So you go to the temple. The proclamation of your nationality is made by the individual. Secretary documents it in whatever book or whatever it is that they have, and once you're on the books, then it's official. Then you start attending your meetings. The temple that brought us into this 2008, they had Monday they had whatever meeting, Tuesday they had whatever meeting, Wednesday they had Mufti meeting, Thursday divinity meeting, Friday martial arts, Saturday whatever, Sunday school, adult school, children's school. All the Moors were industrious, had businesses, had something they were doing outside of the structure, so that they can be Moors, not just in this building. So I think where it lost steam is when Noble Drew Ali got assassinated, and it turned into push this as a religious thing, and that just has been the pattern for the past 100 years. That this is religious corporation, religious organization. Fez is religious, the Turban is religious, the Circle 7 is the religious book, and that weighs on people who are open-minded, and they're trying to get out of Christianity or whatever else that our people were involved in, and then they get to this, and then it's telling them religion too, right? Which at that point, I would probably say, well, there's probably nothing for our people, because if we're going to go to all these different schools of thought, and all of them are basing what they're doing on some type of religion, whether they're 501c3 or whatever like that, whether the presentation is some type of religious thing, that's a certain level of this, and then we look at that as that's the base elementary level. Like, religion isn't where it's at in this. It's about taking your place amongst the affairs of man, and that's being industrious. That's not being, a divine minister, but not a grand chief, or a divine minister, or not a governor. If you're a governor, that's definitely not some religious position, But again, being that time, it's speculation based on literature, talking to other Moors. Moor might be able to speak at least from the 80s perspective, how it was looked at when people come into the building, to now. Pre that, it'll be whoever else was around, or the oral history passing on of info. But all these things are things that, for example, like that book, when the secretary is writing down the names 1929, where's that book at?
Right.
For just to see, you know what I mean? Like, okay, well, what was really going on? What were they putting down in this thing? You know, we have the ID card that we could say, okay, well, we know that they were giving out something. You know what I mean? When you go to join, you're getting something and you're leaving with it. So we know that exists. You know, we have our Quran and 101s. You know, we have the lessons. So we know that there was some activity. We got the pictures. You know, Moor was talking about the other day, the panoramic picture of the convention. If you've never seen that one, there's a panoramic picture, and then you're looking at, well, if all these Moors are involved with it back then, you know, then this must have been something back then.
Right.
You know, if they're gonna have, you know, costume ball, and costume ball is, you can't even get an outfit because everybody else is buying outfits to come to the costume ball, then something must have been going on. Chicago 1920s, and then you go into, you know, Chicago World Fair and stuff like that, and you say, okay, well, there was definitely a frequency, a Moorish frequency that was taking its place and going to other places, you know. So who really knows as far as the process, let's say, you know, of nationalizing, proclaiming a nationality at the temple. But that would be good stuff to be able to reach out and touch, you know, to see what these things are. Islam were.
Wasn't the religious brought in to protect those until they get their civic nationality proclaimed, and the religious under protection of the Constitution or whatever
Right.
gave them the right to go ahead and learn this while they were still being protected under
Right.
the
That's how I would look at it.
Yes.
You know, the religious is even with today, with Moors who had Islam. Peace, Moor. Come on in. Peace. Yeah, there should be one back there. Actually, you could check see if they got any more chairs. Yeah, they could bring out it'd be like they could bring a stack and just leave them out. They could just leave them out there or something. Just a stack.
Oh, you just go.
Peace, Moor. Islam.
Peace, Moor.
Peace. Islam. Yeah. So that's how I would look at it. Like, even like I was saying, with in this day and time, where Moors are getting violated for exercising national, but then they say religious and people leave them alone. They don't have the issues that they have on the national side. Doesn't mean that not to do the national, right? But it's letting you know that there's many different ways that you could maneuver. But for the individual coming in, yeah, the religious is to get you off your feet, get you off your, you know, get you starting to move a little bit, walking, seeing, smelling, you know, testing yourself. You know, you might fall a little bit or whatever like that. You fall in religion, it's all right. You fall as a national, you might get 5 years or something like that. You know what I mean? So I see it just like that. You know, there's levels to it. The religious is the newest, even if we check the timeline, that started last. So from Juali's assassination going back, you know, Moorish Science Temple. Then going back, Moorish Holy Temple of Science. Going back, Moorish Divine National Movement. Going back, Old Canaanite Temple. So that's the newest thing. There's no way that that's the all and be all if it's the newest thing.
Yes, and that's why they tell us to study.
because the more you study, the more you will learn that there's more to that word religion that we know.
Yeah,
When
yeah.
you say the word religion, it means to realign yourself back
Mhm.
to your ancient foremothers.
Yeah.
That word religion, you have to break it down, study it, you know.
Yeah, you can just, or you can put them in this corner right here. Just put them all in there, and these people can.
It's more than just praying,
Yeah,
bowing your head.
yeah.
There's more to it.
And that was the whole thing with those Moors, with the thing with the religion, because like the master teacher said, religion without definition, people not gonna know that you're talking about something broader than pray, holy book, God, prophet, whatever. You know what I mean? There's way more to the religious aspect, of how we're supposed to be looking at this. But it's been pushed for so long as being religious that people sort of just go with it because why not go with it? It's still here after 100 years from this religious thing. But imagine if the 100-year activity was civic opposed to religious. So where would this thing be? And then we look at all the other people who are out there that's been around for 100 years, where they at right now, and then the Moors and where the Moors at right now. Guarantee if this was civic after Noble Trolley transition, it wouldn't be what it is right now. It'll be way more than what it is right now.
Yeah. Going off what the brother was talking about with nationality, what I'm starting to see from me, enlightening myself, the reason why I want to do a status change to get myself from under this false jurisdiction, and understanding that when I claim, not just I don't know about getting a card, like a simple card, a nationality card, but claiming myself as you can say sovereignty is nothing but I can't correctly say it now, but I'm being a national, a free national, so to speak, is to get myself out of the jurisdiction. Then I'll be able to free myself from all the harassment and the different things, and then I can start to establish myself as that who God has called me, who is allowed to say that I can now step into that. And they can't hold me back. Like you said, you're driving with those placards on my car, wherever I'm free to travel. We're supposed to be doing that anyway. But a lot of people don't know that. Every time your name is in, all caps, you are a false
entity.
You're a corporation. They're gonna treat you as that. When all these taxes and everything, they levying on us. Break that.
So a perfect example is with what you're doing, because you're talking about the work that you do, right? So just like this, relative to the work that you do, fourth day in, they weren't sending you on the roof to go do anything. because it doesn't go like that, right? So it's the same thing with this. So when what over the years, dealing with all these different Moors or whatever like that, the ones that are successful in this, or the ones that have longevity, are the ones who studied in the beginning, not studied because of situation. You know what I mean? Studied because it's interesting. You're interested. Something. Allah told you something. You listened to your higher self one day, and the book fell off the shelf, and then you just opened it and it said more right there, and now you're on this journey, right? Take the studying part more than the go out and do something part. Go get a card, go get papers, go whatever. Take it from the perspective of, when you got into your trade, so that you're the place where you're at now is where you want to be with regard to this, right? You don't want to be winging it. You want to know that, okay, this plugs in right here. If you don't put this right here, then the stuff's not going to work. Or even with the IT, if it's not done in the order that it's supposed to be done, the stuff is never going to work. right? So the best way for this to work is to study it. Once you start studying it, then it becomes more normal. It comes together a lot smoother. You know, too many people get into this because they have a situation, and then they have a situation. Then they go talk to that Moor over there because you know he has a fez on, so he's got to know what's going on. Then they go to talk to him, and he's telling them 900. Then they pay, and then they get some papers and stuff's lopsided and all that, and they're not paying attention to because they think we got the paper. I got the paper. No, I got it. You know, the stuff doesn't work, and then they're mad at the Moors instead of being mad at that guy who sold them some BS or whatever. You know,
That's why you study, so you don't hate it now.
yeah, because it's really yours. You know, it's unfortunate. Going back again to the thing with the temple. Well, what's the temple there for and whatever? When the claim nationality? No, the temple is for you to go study. The nationality part is yours. You're coming with that, and you're proclaiming it. Yeah. So when they say, "Come, join the Moorish Science Temple and take your place amongst the affairs of men," when you go there, you're supposed to have some type of knowledge of what you're proclaiming, right? If you're not doing that, then you're just going in for the meetings. You're going to take your notes, just like what we're doing here. You know, take your notes, go back home. Next meeting, you come back, you got your questions, you ask your questions, and you figure it out as you go. And then you're going to get to that point where you're transitioning from, okay, well, I know that I'm not Negro, black, colored, because, okay, well, I'm a Moor. And then, okay, well, now what's that? What is it being a Moor? You know, you talk to some Moors, they tell you, you know, a Moor is, you know, you gotta climb the balconies from the outside, and when you get to the roof, then you gotta backflip off of it, and that's not really how it is. You know what I mean? And then you talk to other Moors, and they say, man, I haven't even done anything as far as proclamation yet. I'm still studying. How long have you been studying for? 7 years I've been studying. Right? It hits people different. Different people are inspired by different things, and this energy, the Moorish paradigm energy, is the last stop on the path to wherever it is that we think we're going. Is the stop. So once you get to here, you're on your way. You know, and again, part of the tour is to get this to happen, the book to go around, everybody has the number or whatever like that, so that when we leave, you know, next 2 weeks, Saturday, there's going to be a meeting here still, right? Because we don't got to be here for the meeting to happen. We're just here to bring the Moors who are here together. I'm not from here, so what's happening here ain't not going to do anything to me. You know what I mean? It's really for the people who are here, you know? So that's why the book went around for everybody to put their contact and all that stuff, so that now you know you have Moors in your territory. That, you know, for example, with the proclamation of your nationality, you know, you might have some paper that you got to do something with. You call it wrong. Yo, I need a signature for my thing. Oh yeah, meet me at the whatever. Right? You got your signature. Got other Moor right over there, and then you got your stuff. You got your stuff. Autographed, signatured, you know, I gotta move a couch, you know, gotta call your Negro brother anymore. You call him Moor to help you. Right?
You say 10, he come at 1.
Yeah. Right, yeah. So this is what it's for, you know, for the Moors to get together. And then once you're together, now you can be active in your own way, and especially if it's especially if there's nothing here that's happening. You know, like we know, No Jolly said, "Yeah, I got charters for every state. If anybody wants charter, come check me." Right? That was 1920s, and then 2024. There's no temple in Phoenix. There's the issue, right? There's no temple in Denver, there's an issue. No temple in Dallas, there's an issue. No temple in Toronto, there's an issue. No temple in you know, because these things are supposed to be there. You know what I mean? We're supposed to be just like when you go out there and there's what's the thing that you said is everywhere? Circle K?
Yeah.
Everywhere?
Yeah.
That's how it's supposed to be with the temple. The liquor store everywhere, that's how it's supposed to be with the temple. You know? Right? But they know that once the people are off the track, then they can put up all this other stuff and people are gonna go chase after that instead of what they really should be chasing after. And this is really it. You know, all that stuff, all that black whatever stuff that they got going on for our people, that's not it. Nationality is the order of the day. You ask anybody else, or even we could even talk with just some of the Moors in here. We'll put this out. If any Moors have any testimonials of, you know, being a Moor. You know what I mean? When you said you proclaim your nationality, but what does it benefit to be? What does it benefit to be a Moor? You know, what do I get from this? Well, you're gonna get your 1 acre, and then you're gonna get your car and your house. You know,
It should have been that way.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's what we were talking about last night. That's what it should have been. Yeah.
But we all these dirty Moors, you know, helping the European. That's why we don't have it.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, I got a question. That's another thing. The divine constitution when it says obey the laws of the government. But this ain't the correct number.
Right.
So that's, you know, I have a problem with that.
Yeah.
Because the other Moors say, you know, they're not going by the prophet because they're supposed to obey the law.
Right. Yeah. Law of the government. Yeah.
And all that.
Yeah.
So I get a headache sometimes.
Yeah. And it's going back to the thing with, because if you go from the religious side, then you pay the taxes, and then you get your licenses and whatever like that. You know, you got the bay on it. You know, so you're good to go because the bay is on a license. Well, no, right? You know, no. But in Drew Ali's time, we're looking at before the New Deal and all that. So when we're saying, you know, part and parcel of this said government, you know, this said government is Moorish government, and then the other people, right? 1920s. Nowadays, this said government is Moorish government, and then there ain't nobody else to look at as quote unquote the government. In all Noble Drew Ali's literature, when he's mentioned government or United States or America government or American government or whatever, he's not talking about these people today that we see posing as if they're the government. He's not talking about them. Right?
And that's another reason why you got to break that word government down.
Yeah.
Because what does it tell you?
Yeah.
Govern your own life.
Governmental.
If you don't know, then somebody else governs you.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And that's the only way you can be governed by somebody else if you're not governing yourself. You know.
That's why you black.
Yeah. Which goes back to, again, the thing with, you know, we could say the religious thing, but are you governing yourself if you're religious? Because if you're telling me, well, the Constitution gave me the right to religion, well, the Constitution ain't, that's not our stuff. You know, we're supposed to enforce that, but that's not our laws. We're not following those. That's to keep those people in line so they don't violate. You know? Enforce the Constitution is the protection. You know, because if you don't enforce the Constitution, then they're going to enforce acts, statutes, ordinance, assume jurisdiction, and all the other stuff that they shouldn't be doing. Because they really should be going the constitutional route with everything. Even if they're saying they're a fraud, they're supposed to be doing the constitutional stuff. Even if they're admitting, yeah, we're a fraud, this Constitution's still supposed to be supreme to anything else that's not in harmony with it. You know. But then if the Moors think it has nothing to do with them because they're looking at it religious, well, we're religious, we don't got to do that. But then, well, the religion's in the Constitution, then what do we say that we're Moors for? Just to pray, sing hymns to Noble Drew Ali? That's what we did as black. And that didn't get us anywhere. No matter of fact, got us further behind doing things that way, opposed to dealing with things from from the rights angle, which is what opens it up for you to really see what this is about. Because we are going back to the thing with the testimonials. Everybody who ever encountered me that was foreign to the Americas, they didn't come on some religious whatever. You know what I mean? They came on, oh, that's Moorish. That's, are you a Shriner? Nobody ever really goes for, so you're Muslim or whatever, because it's not only Muslims who wear fezzes. You know what I mean? Fezzes goes through a lot of different cultures, Mm-hmm. Any questions? We could shoot all those out right now.
So
Or comments.
I want to explain so everybody understand that what is the process to really proclaim your nationality. What are the true steps to do it? Because a lot of people don't understand it. Mm-hmm. They don't, they're on RB Bay, but they still understand it. I got a lot of brothers call me and say, what do I do? And I explain to them. But since we're online, mm-hmm. What is the correct way to proclaim your nationality? What is the right steps to proclaim?
So our pattern has been your studying first and foremost before you even go out and proclaim something. Even if you think give yourself extra, give yourself a little extra more time in the studying aspect of this. Because like Moor was saying, you have to govern your mental first. Once the mental is governed, now the process is, going from whatever name to appellation, right? Going from Negro, black, colored to free national, right? Over the years, you had CMB that was issuing nationality cards. You had Moor Science Temple issuing nationality cards, and with the change of the times, the card went from the paper to having the picture, hair color, eye color, autograph. Some people might have case law on it. Some of them got barcodes on it. Some of them, there's all these different ways, processes, how to go. So when 2008, when we came into this, it was you have your paperwork, which would be nationality paperwork. They even used to say renunciation. Renunciation of U.S. citizenship. They would say, having a birth record instead of birth certificate, all these different things. What we did through Great Seal, which connected with RV Bay, was that you have your name correction, which is one sheet, going from the name that you were born with to your appellation with El Bay de Al on it. And then you have your judicial proclamation, which is an example of the language you're supposed to have. Mm-hmm. Now that you're saying you're in this status, right? So some of the Moors used the proclamation papers as a study tool, right? So taking that and then looking up everything on that, and again, over the years, we could say that it's say 1.5 to like a 3-year complete study of just those 6 pages. Just taking those 6 pages and then studying those 6 pages, that's at least 1.5 to 3 years. Just that. And then once you study it, now you know what it is, put your appellation on it, send it in. You either go to the temple, go to the Moors or whatever like that, get it sealed, and then you take those papers and you put on notice who needs to know that you've made this transition from Negro, black, colored to now you have a nationality.
Actually, can you define the put on notice? What do you mean by put on notice?
So we have we were talking about earlier with the so-called government, right? The so-called government isn't who they say they are. So over the years, we've been dealing with them as if they're legit. Now that we found out that they're not legit, you have to put them on notice so that they know to not deal with you like how they deal with everybody else. Now, 90% of the time, you're not going to get a response. But you're not sending it to them to get a response. You're sending it to them just so they know that you know that they know that you know that they know. Right? Yeah, right. Whatever they do, that's up to them. What they do. And again, this is going back to the thing of, if Moors were doing what they're supposed to do since back then to now, then we wouldn't even have any issues like that. From the point of you send them something and they're not responding, right? Because they would already know what's up. We would already get the form for work, whatever like that, and you'll see a section there, box Moorish American there. You just check that. We wouldn't have to be fighting with these people, right? So the notice is because again, when we talk about the fraud, like there's things that we say on it. Notice the principal is notice the agent, right? None of those people are principal that you're sending this notice to, but everybody's agent. So it might even be a situation where like they have that because of logistics, you're gonna say seven quote unquote governmental whoever's that you're gonna send your paperwork to, right? But it's probably 50 or 80 or something like that. But 7 is just to be in harmony with the energies, the numbers, and the numerology and all that, as well as letting those individuals know, the more higher up people, letting them know, putting them on notice. It's sort of gets your name going or whatever, because every other Moor is sending to these people too. So governor of Arizona or whatever, he's at the office and he's got one from him, he got one from him, he got one from her, he got one from her, he got one from him, and he has a stack like this of all these people sending in this stuff. The conversation is gonna get around of this activity, of this thing. People, they keep sending these things in or whatever like that. And then you have the thing with, they're the sovereign citizens, don't worry about them or whatever the case is, right? But the process of it is just it's for practice. It's for you to gain confidence, because it's once in a while you're going to get a response, and it does something for you to get a response in your free national name, not the name that you were born with. Especially from governor, whoever send you something back, you're like, oh shit, they put the L on it or whatever like that. Photocopying it, gonna save this. I gotta save this as evidence to use or whatever, because it's a real thing, that.
They won't respond because they don't want to.
Yeah, they don't want. They don't want it to be boosted, And again, them not responding, all right, they didn't respond. Ain't no big deal. We're still gonna be who it is we say we are.
We're waiting on a response because
it's real.
Yeah. When the response is really you.
When you get no response, that's when you know it's real. You get no response.
Yeah. Right. So you send those. So you send those papers out, 7 of them, and then you give them a time frame to respond in. They don't respond, and then the next step is, all right, now you're gonna get your ID. You gotta get their passport picture. At this point, you either, because a lot of things are like we see nationality cards without headwear on it, right? Because people, they ran out, got the card or whatever like that without even penetrating. Okay, well, if I'm a national and if so certain things might have been done out of order. Not that it takes anything away from it. Because it's still a Moor. Card make you a Moor or whatever like that. But the process would be to be in habit, fez on, turban or something like that in your picture, so that it gives off a different energy than just everybody else's stuff. Anybody else give them a card and they look at it, like when we went to the spot and we see these cards. You gave them the cards and they're looking at them. Give us a second or whatever like that. We've never seen these ones before. Give me a second. Went call somebody, whatever they did. Call the manager or whatever like that. Do we accept these? Yeah. And they're like, yeah. So everything went good. It wasn't an issue. But it does something, and then you matching the card. So if you're showing that, you should have a fez on. You should look like the picture or whatever, and we started going to Great Seal to get the identification because it was hard card, like I said, there was picture on it. There was no barcodes. There was no, things that were sort of off. That why would this be on here? No expiration date. Things like that. And then once you have your paperwork sent out, and then you get your ID card, then now it's about being yourself. And going back to what you were talking about with, like with the plates and things like that. Things like that would be what the temple structure is there for. They would have the spot in the back where they're printing the plates, and they have the card machine that they're printing the cards. This is how it would run, because the same way you look at, DMV, they got an office. You're going to go there, and then they're going to go in the back or under the desk or whatever like that, put in your info, and then give you your stuff or mail it or whatever the case is. It's the same thing that should have been done with us. So, they have their stuff they're doing, and then we have our independent, Aboriginal, indigenous that we're doing, and it's recognized because, it's been going on for 100 years, and there's nothing to, and just like, somebody do something criminal with a license and they got their people, and we got our people that you do something crazy with this, then we got our people that we could send out, 711 or whatever like that, and then the people come get you, because you're violent.
I call 711 on
Yeah.
you. Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Just letting Arizona know I am a notary.
Islam. Yeah.
And it's in my queen act.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And then that's just like the religious thing that, if they want to play like they don't want to recognize all these more signatures on a document because of whatever, then let the notary seal it. And then it's the Moorish notary, so you're good to go. And then you could do whatever. Now they're gonna say, you got to notarize. Okay, by our boy, fine, we'll recognize your papers. Same papers that you just sent them, just with 5 more signature on it. Oh no, we can't accept that. That's out of the jurisdiction of the court or whatever like that. Oh, but now you put a notary on it, now they're taking it. Islam more.
Okay, just what he said with that being a notary. Let's say you want to go to court, you have some problems with the court, you want to get your documents from the court,
Mhm.
certified copies from the court.
Yeah.
Here, they don't want to give them to you. You got to get the whole package.
Yeah.
Depending on what it is.
Right.
But he can go down and get it all for free.
Right.
Every drop of
Mm.
certified.
Mm.
So if you have a problem with the board,
Yeah.
and you can't get your documents,
Yeah.
find him, you can go down there and get every drop of it.
Yeah. Right.
where they reside.
Yeah. Right. So that would be and then that would be similar to the temple structure. Then they got a notary. Then they got a HVAC guy, and they got an electrician, and they got a carpenter, and they got a seamstress, and they got a whatever, and that's how society runs. And then all these individuals who are, master adept at whatever it is that they claim, then they're the head of that department now. If we're building this thing up, so then we look at 20 years from now, right? This is now a structure, and then there's a charter school that you're running, and you're training all the riffraffs or whatever like that to come learn their HVAC, whatever, from the Moorish school. And then the mother's a seamstress, and then all the little sisters go in there, and they're gonna go to the tailor school to go learn that, and just like everybody else is doing. It's just having the individuals who are in this for the longevity, so that we could get some things done. Because a lot of people are part-time. They're Moors when they got issues, and then when it's time for everything else, they're whatever.
Okay. How many of us in here have ever heard of Trinity versus Pagliaro?
What's that?
Trinity versus Pagliaro.
Mm-hmm.
Never heard of it. Well, he has heard of it. So for every Moor in here, if you ever have a problem with the courts and attorneys, I put on the public record at the county reporter's office here, Trinity versus Pagliaro, where no attorney can ever really be in that court. There's 3 things that they'll hit you with. Well, this is the number one thing that the attorneys like to use is failure to state a claim whereby relief can be granted. Rule 12B. Well, they can only use that if they have a affidavit, deposition, or an interrogatory on the record. Well, we almost know that's really impossible because an attorney they can't do an affidavit.
Right.
So if they're arguing Rule 12B, you can knock them out of the box because Trinity versus Pagliaro declares that they can't do that without any affidavits. Okay. The other thing you should do is if they're bringing you to the court, do a counterclaim on the attorney. Watch them go away. They'll go away just like that. I'm telling you what I know because I've done it.
Yeah.
I have something to say, Reggie. Because we're talking about proclaiming our nationality, and as I stated, I came into the temple in Grand Chief Nature all day. But when I came in, I wrote my proclamation in my heart. I did not, go to the paper. So I handwrote it, sent it in to him, and he couldn't believe it. But this other thing that I realized through, trial and error and things that going through is that also you need your circumstance and reading about the cherubim and the seraphim, which is your stations and your zodiac, and how you move. You should only move when it's right for you to move, because a lot of times we make these moves and then we wonder why
stuff's not
we're
going.
in situations. So once you chart yourself and you learn your chart, then you'll know when to make those particular moves as far as proclaiming, as far as appearing at making that special appearance at the courthouse, because I've done that too. Been in judges' chambers where they, we were not even allowed. But it's very important to be in your circumstance also.
Islam.
I'm a witness to that. I'm a witness.
Islam.
I'm with that.
You had a question, Mars?
No, I was just like, how she said that's pointed.
Right.
How you were saying govern your mental before you, oh, I'm gonna get this, go do this.
Right.
It's not that
time.
You have to sit back and soak everything in. Go back and study and read. Plenty of times, listen to Sister Roz, Sister Johnny, Ms. Marie, Cujo, and just really studying and studying, read over it. Then when we get our documents and paperwork, you don't just read it. You read it from top to bottom, from side to side, you read all of it. And then go back and read it again. Go back and read it again.
When you proclaim your nationality, you're gonna be challenged.
Oh, yeah.
That energy is gonna be challenged.
Right off the
Yeah,
bat.
off the
Right
top.
off the
There's
bat.
so much stuff that lived at the courthouse. They got
Yeah.
tired of saying that.
Because I need to understand, and I want to understand, and what I know is, I know who I am, right? And so, yes, as we say, I work, labor, whatever words you want to use, but I know who I am when I walk through my office doors, and they say, Miss Lisa, why'd you come in here? I know who I am, and I know who I am not. So, when I come in, I'm the truth. And what's funny is, my appellation, when I picked it, when that whole saying, you give back to your people, right? You give back to your people. I picked my appellation at Isa, which everybody knows, Brother Jesus, like Isa. Sadia, when I found out that's Arabic and that means the truth. And that was brought to me by, a Arabic brother, and he says, do you know that means the truth? And we walk in truth all the time.
Islam work. Yeah, go ahead.
You said, circumcision, can you?
Oh, yeah.
Oh. I guess.
Yeah.
Do we have one?
Where'd you get that from?
Yeah, we can give you the sites and stuff together. RV Bay Publications, CalifaMedia.com. You're supposed to be able to go to the temple and get it. Yeah. Yeah. Take an excerpt from this. Know thyself and thy father God Allah. The genealogy of Jesus, with 18 years of the events, life, and works and teachings in India, Europe, and Africa. These events occurred before he was 30 years of age. These secret lessons are for all those who love Jesus and desire to know his life, works, and teachings. Dear readers, do not falsely use these lessons. They are for good, peace, and happiness for all those who love Jesus. Dear mothers, teach these lessons to your little ones, that they may learn to love instead of hate. Dear fathers, by these lessons, you can set your house in order, and your children would learn to love instead of hate. The lessons of this pamphlet are not for sale, but for the sake of humanity. As I am a prophet, and the servant is worthy of his hire. You can receive this pamphlet at expense. The reason these lessons have not been known is because the Muslims of India, Egypt, and Palestine had these secrets and kept them back from the outside world. And when the time appointed by Allah, they loosened the keys and freed these secrets, and for the first time in ages have these secrets been delivered in the hands of the Muslims of America. All authority and rights of publishing of this pamphlet of 1927 by the Prophet Noble Jew Ali. The industrious acts of the Muslims of Northwest and Southwest Africa. These are the Moabites, Hamathites, Canaanites, who were driven out of the land of Canaan by Joshua and received permission from the pharaohs of Egypt to settle in the portion of Egypt. In later years, they formed themselves kingdoms. These kingdoms are called this day Morocco, Algiers, Tunis, Tripoli, etc. So the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple, Moorish Holy Temple of Science, was divinely prepared by the noble prophet Jew Ali, by the guiding of his Father God Allah, the great God of the universe, to redeem men from their sinful and fallen stage of humanity back to the highest plane of life with his Father God Allah. So when you get this, like the mother was saying, relative to all the other people out there that have a quote unquote holy book, you have a holy book. Right? People like Moors even would like to make reference to like other holy books in a higher regard than this. When they're Moors, and they should be put, just like Christians not pushing no other book on you than their book, right? So we have our own now that we can say, well, now we got our lessons. I don't know what you're talking about with your lessons, because in our lessons it says this, right? So once you go into the institution of the Moor Science Temple, you get Holy Quran, you get the 101 questionnaire, which again, this is tailored by Noble Drew Ali, question and answer, dealing with spirituality, history, law, for you to get yourself in the mode of being in this new frame of mind. You also have the second part to this book, which is called Mysteries of the Silent Brotherhood. And this is, you could say, the metaphysical or the spiritual, the more spiritual or divine lessons that Yahshua was going through, Esau was going through while he was on his quest to find himself.
And that's by the same author?
Yeah. Both of those are Noble Drew Ali prepared those.
Okay.
The questionnaire, and then there's another book called the Oral Statements and Prophecies of Noble Drew Ali. And this is this was prepared for or prepared by Moors who were around Noble Drew Ali, and then people took quotes from people who were around Noble Drew Ali and compiled those. So now you have sort of hadiths for Moors. You could also look at it from the indigenous perspective, that this is the oral history of the Moorish paradigm, tying us again to the aspect of this being also Aboriginal and indigenous. When we say that we're Moors, we're not just talking about Spain and Europe and all that stuff. We're also talking about Cherokee, Algonquin, Iroquois, all these different tribes on this side that were highly melanated. They count or qualify as Moors as well, as far as the indigenous thing. So if you hear, any of your elders, so yeah, we used to be Indians or whatever the case is like that, really that's what they're saying. We're Moors, without saying that we're Moors.
Peace, brother.
Peace, Moor.
Brother Iron Sheik, I know you was Iron Sheik.
Islam.
I had the pleasure of interviewing the brother years ago.
Yeah. Islam, Moor.
So I just have a few things to say going back to the putting on notice. Make sure that it's very short, and make sure your words are direct, and make sure you're not appear to be aggressive when you're putting anybody on notice. What I'm learning is that there's a lot of individuals and people within the government that know about Moors. Some of them know a lot more than we do. So you kind of got to be careful on how you're doing your putting people on notice. You don't want it to be too long. You want to be direct and short and polite. The other thing is too, is highly important to, if you haven't gotten one, this is why I love the brother Joel, because he always emphasizes on the indigenous aspect, the autochthonous aspect. You have to be careful about people trying to make you seem like you're foreigners. So the other thing about that is make sure you get an exotic map of the Americas so you can see where Europe was. So you can see where Spain originally was. So you can see where all these places that's mentioned in the writings really were. Then you'll see how heavy Prophet was. Because he's taking you back to the original places and territories, like Iberia. That's the territory in Missouri and in Texas, Palestine. We have a Baghdad, Arizona. We got a Baghdad, California. These places are older than some of the places that you know about overseas. So it's very important to comprehend that, because Drew Ali didn't do the mandate in Spain. Be careful, brothers, to try and put you in Spain over there. He did the mandate in the Americas, in Cuba, which is known as the Cube. That's the Cuba Mecca. Mecca is Mexico. So we really have to comprehend on who we are, because a lot of people have this information, and when they see you appearing as a foreigner, wonder why your processes don't work. When you appear as a foreigner, your dialogue is that of a foreigner instead of that is, this is mine. You're the invader, this is mine. So, peace, brother, I rest.
Islam. Any other comments?
Yeah, they tell you in the Marine song, from the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli. They're telling you right there.
Montezuma, the Moorish king.
Yeah.
Right down the road.
Yeah.
Miles away.
I got a question, I got a comment.
Yeah.
You really want to, I have a problem with some Moors that don't wear their feathers in the public.
Mm.
It's not supposed to be some national headdress for the Moorish American. I will always wear a fez because I don't want you to think I'm a Negro.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
When I first got into this, I was tested a lot, and there was a lot I didn't know, but I know of the Moor.
Yeah.
And I'll tell them, well, I'm still studying, but I know more.
Mm-hmm.
And I wear my fez everywhere.
Yeah.
They go, I've had women look at me snickering.
Yeah.
I just looked at them and said, what's the name? After a while, you get more confident.
Yeah.
I had 2 questions that was asked me, I couldn't answer, so I said, I'll go back and find out.
Go back and find out.
But, I've always wear a fez, I don't care what you say.
The energy of the feds is so real.
Yeah.
When I first became my nationality, when I got my feds, I took it out the box in the house, and I said, all right, I did this thing, I'm gonna put it on now, and I'm going for a walk.
Yeah.
I put my feds on. Now this is in North Carolina,
Yeah.
downtown, in the most supposed to be racist. Everywhere I went with my feds on, I got nothing but positive responses from them. I had people open the doors for me.
Yeah.
I'm like, babe, I went to the people.
Right.
They open the doors. And I walked in. They open the doors for you. You will be respected by people who don't like you.
Yeah.
They have no choice but to bow down when they see you walking in your truth, and they know, oh, that's a real one. Because people can feel your energy. You can put a fez on, and if you ain't right, it's going to show.
Yeah.
But you put that fez on, and you wear it in truth because I was green, I didn't know nothing, but I knew that this was real.
Yeah.
And when I walked the streets of North Carolina, did business with people with my fez on, everything went my way.
Yeah. It's love. It's love. Yeah.
What's the difference between the colors and the tassel and how where would you find that information?
That brother cool.
There's a book called Rudder and Sexton. Rudder and Sexton. They probably have a PDF. There's probably a PDF online. But what you want to stay away from per se is looking at it like that, or the red means whatever, and the green, and then the brown, and because it's titles, right? It's positions. So if you're looking at it like that instead of a birthright, you might get caught up and say, oh yeah, I'm gonna get the green one because the green one means whatever like that, but not really being there, you might mess yourself up having a green one. If the wrong person sees you, they start to right? Yeah. Right? You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah.
One of the Moors was wearing a black fez. He was supposed to, and got the hands put on him.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them that are supposed to be wearing a black fez. Who's supposed to wear a black fez?
Like security or law enforcers. Or like you look at it like with martial arts with the black belt and the colors of the belt is relative to that. You could look at it like that on that level. Yeah.
I need an explanation. When it says, in what year was Moorish Science Temple founded?
Yeah.
1913.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Science.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see there had to be somebody had to go through that and
So
put their own or change it.
That was
That's sort of where we lean.
Right.
That's sort of where we lean. Because we have the 101s,
Right,
and then we have the Moorish literature.
right,
The Moorish literature saying Moor Science Temple, 1928.
right.
Right.
So,
So Moor Science Temple from the beginning, it's it's just like what they say. Born in North Carolina, descendants of Moroccans. He was born in Morocco. If it's really like that,
right,
you know what I mean? It wouldn't be North Carolina because that's not North Carolina. You know what I mean? So with these conflicting narratives, it just goes to show how deep the sellout could probably go.
right.
Like the sellout's not just they killed Noble Drew Ali and that's it. Like they killed them and then they went back into literature and people changed stuff and people added things and they got stuff out of circulation and then somebody took all the audios and buried those from all the lectures and classes and meetings or whatever like that these Moors were having, which I'm pretty sure was recorded because Garvey stuff was recorded and W. Du Bois stuff was recorded and everybody else is recorded and nobody has a 10 seconds or nothing of Noble Drew Ali, nothing. Nothing. So yeah. So it just shows the level, how deep the infiltration went with this, in order to get it to the place where they would never thought that this would be going on.
Right.
They never thought a Moor would be going around all the different places having lectures, stuff. When we look at the activity that Moor's been doing, we're looking at Brother Lean, years going all over. Brother Asir, years going all over. Taj going all over, years going all over. And it's only these people. And then you check the temple people and they're just in the building. And then that's it. Yeah, this side, no. And that's it, So it's imperative for Moors to create the culture, create the culture, especially if it's not frequent or you're not seeing it, then yeah, it's ripe for, and I mean, with the room that we have here, even though Moors travel or whatever the case is, there's a core here. I mean, there's a body of Moors near the jurisdiction of Phoenix that, they're out here. I'm seeing fezzes and turbans out here. And then we have, like when we were at Colorado, it was just the Moor. Because everybody else out there, they're Negro, black, colored, Indian, whatever like that, whatever school of thought, and that's it. They want nothing to do with Moors. So it's different where you go, but the word's getting out there, and people are gravitating to freedom. It's not some far thing anymore. What I mean? It's just like the brother said. I was just on Instagram. I saw the thing. So here I am, because I saw the thing on, promoted online or whatever. And then the other good thing too is, more is already being connected. So for whatever atmosphere created the dispersal, to come back together, and Moors could still say, "Oh yeah, Islam worked, long time," and all that stuff. Then it lets you know that things are in motion for this area, for this jurisdiction.
What would you tell like a new person, a novice, right? Because you have Tarka Bay and you have Rami out saying that RV Bay and the language of RV Bay and the language of Taj, you got Sister Corinne Gaines murdered. All these words that we're using, like what would you say to a new person at the time that they should use a particular language or not? You know what I mean? And how to make sure that they're ready.
Well, I think it goes back to, because when we look at, if we use Corn Gaines for example, right? Her frequency was defending something, right? Whether they violated her, whether they whatever, she was, something happened, and her response was that way, right? Because of whatever happened. Most times, it's not even that the language gets you messed up. It's really what energy you come in with. You know what I mean? Like, how are you presenting yourself as somebody with knowledge? You know what I mean? Are you wise with the presentation, or you know more than the guy with the gun? Well, the guy has the gun. You probably wanna be a little reserved. You know what I mean? Just because we got years and years and years and years of the pattern of, I thought it was my taser and all that stuff with people. You know what I mean? So to even not go there, the energy being right, and then the language later. But yeah, definitely, you have to be studied. That's the only way that the language is gonna be right. We know she was studying, but no turban and all that stuff.
She was getting that from RV Bay.
Yeah.
Like, she could have just got that language from anywhere.
Yeah, she could have got it from anywhere.
Yeah.
From
like RV Bay. They got it specifically from this.
Yeah. Well. Again, like certain things, certain language, you're gonna attribute to certain people. You know what I mean? So if you hear somebody out there and they're doing their little presentation or whatever like that, and they start talking about gonna get your peanut butter sandwiches and all that stuff, you already know who they jack from. You know that's not them. You know they didn't make that up. You know what I mean? Right? So then they go out and then they spout these things or whatever. So I think the thing that's tying them was her asking for the delegation of authority, or that because she's using that language, she was studying from RV Bay or Taj Street Bay or affiliates, because nobody else talks about that from that perspective, that these people have to have something in order for them to have the authority to do certain things. So, show me the thing. Like, it's not a erroneous request. It's not an erroneous request to ask the baker, bake me a cake, so let me see that you could bake something before I buy your cake. You know what I mean? Right? Like, you should be able to ask for that, and then they should be able to say, oh yeah, here's the thing. Now if they're not showing it, now you know that you're dealing with somebody who you probably don't want to be dealing with, because they're far from honorable. Going back to the same thing with them, with those two, that if they're going to talk crazy about RV Bay and Taj, they're probably not honorable people.
See, but the energy that young lady brought, what they did, they will use that energy to deter us. See, what they did to her, they deterred a lot of Moor from even proclaiming.
Yeah. Oh no,
I don't want to do that. Look what they did to that girl.
Exactly.
Like,
Let me interject on that real quick, because I'm in film and media. So I just want to tell Moors something we need to be careful of is when we see incidents like that on television, and it's continuously, it's done for a reason, and most of it is not even real. So we know how to identify if it's real or not. So we'll move on from foreign games.
Yeah.
What about his brother just got shot down there?
Yeah, K-Mac, yeah. From a brother that we spoke to, it seemed like a setup. Because he was with a body of people, and they thought he was trying to take over the thing or whatever like that, because he's bringing the Moorish information into this into this community that the leadership isn't really on that info, because we know we're on our own info over here, and you're not gonna bring your stuff over or some stuff from out there and taint our people because we need them as slaves in order for us to have this community. But yeah, we were prior, like I think the day of that it happened, we put a call out, like who knows this more, because it's weird that nobody knows this more. This more just you know what I mean, like so somebody who knew him, and they gave us a little down low on the inner workings of how he got to that place, which was being homeless, and then he was in this park that's supposed to be closed or something like that, and highwaymen weren't even there for him. They were there for something else, and happened to see him there or something like that. But again, it's something they're using to try to deter, the more sovereign citizen, and they're using the language again, trying to do their thing to try to get people to not be on this side, or deter them, or convince them otherwise, when this is where it's at. It doesn't matter what's going on out there, whatever happens to another Moor, that shouldn't stop you from being a Moor. That shouldn't convince you that, well, I don't know about being Chinese, because Chinese guy over there got killed by police, so we're not Chinese anymore. It's love.
I should say that.
Oh, Brother Cujo's fine. Don't worry. Don't play those games there.
My question is, I know the dream came in, and we have 4 mothers in here, sisters in here. Where is the movement as far as pertaining to us? We're in 2024. How is it moving?
With regard to the mothers, you mean?
Yes.
That would be for next year, when we come back next year, and then you show us what's been going on.
Okay. I got it.
Games of
but we know from our aforementioned mothers that been putting in work, and people known and unknown. The frequency is there for the women. There's definitely studying going on. There's interaction and building, and it's just something that just has to continue, because we know that you're the point of this. Whether it's for the enemy or whether it's for the salvation, it's all going to be through you. And once you get your stuff together, then everything else is going to get itself together. And again, unfortunately, there's not a wide spectrum of mothers that we could say, oh yeah, right, that there's but the ones that are there make up for the ones who aren't really there yet. You know what I mean? So employing you to do those things here, connect with the other mothers here, build whatever it is that has to be done, whether it's just you getting together to meet, or starting up something, mothers put their head together to figure some stuff out, find out what's needed for this demographic, and make it happen. Why not?
Absolutely.
Actually, we could take an excerpt. This is a good one for any of the mothers out there. You can get, this is a good read. You probably need this one in your library. Pull something out of this. All right, page 298, witch hunts. If life is inherently evil, the church fathers needed someone to blame. And who is better to blame than woman, who creates life from her own body? Living women also can be publicly punished as the iconic and illusory devil can never be. The myth of feminine evil, which has dominated the Western world for over 2,000 years, led logically and directly to the religiously targeted murder of women as witches during the Great Inquisition of Europe. Until recently, the number of deaths from the Inquisition was euphemistically underestimated as a way of denying about 500 years of systematic persecution and slaughter by the Holy Christian Church. We don't know the estimates. Now perhaps deaths are overestimated. We don't know. The estimates range from 1 million to 9 million people burned as witches between the 15th and 18th centuries. Between 1200 and 1484, people were officially killed as heretics. One number is certain. Of people punished for witchcraft in Europe, 80% of those accused, tortured, and burnt were women. Right? So that's the level that they were willing to go to stop you from seeing your divine self. Criminalize you and get you out the way. If anybody has any comments or questions, you could.
I got two. So why did we went from matriarch to patriarch? What made the men feel that they could change the world and basically like kick the mother out? I mean, I understand that.
Yeah.
The son don't understand that.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't a man. He was her son.
Right.
So why did the son feel that he could just take over his mother's position?
I think it was more so the them recognizing that we had their mom in certain messed up situations or whatever. So they went after our mom, and once they got our mom out the way, now there's no need for their mom anymore, because their mom isn't the supreme being,
Which would be, they don't have a mother.
Right.
So that's why they're adolescents.
Yeah.
That's why they're having a problem. That's why, as Moors, or the sons of the Moabite, we need to check them. Because, like a bad kid.
Yeah.
As a father, we need to do what?
Yeah.
Spank the ass.
Do that discipline.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we're so afraid to do that.
Yeah. And again, the fear is because of, the status that we're in. So because we're in the status that, doesn't respect discipline and doesn't respect humanity and doesn't respect certain things, then these people get to run around and, be us until we get our stuff together, And again, when we're talking about that transition of power, every being comes from the Moabite womb, right? So whether it's the hybrid, whether it's the Asiatic, the woman was used as the incubator, So once the sons see how Francis Cresswellson talks about this with the Europeans taking this puffed up, they're bigger than whatever approach is really a temper tantrum. Them going around the place doing all this stuff to people or whatever, right? Is really, little badass children, that you let their hand go in the store, now they're running through the aisles tearing everybody's stuff up, So like you're saying, the spanking gotta go down. but it's really supposed to be from their mom that does it, But then, when you talk about their mom and then their mom's cracked out or whatever, right? Their mom doesn't have herself together. Then now you have, little whoever running the show from the baby chair, And again, the turnaround is really, really with us. But once mother gets herself together, then the sons will get themselves together. That's just what it is. Mother says, son's gonna do. And then if you don't want to hear what that, then here comes the strap. Here comes the backup. If you want to play around like you don't want to listen. If you want to play like you don't want to listen, no problem. We're at an hour mark right now, so we're still open.
I can talk to you all night.
Oh yeah, we got time. We got time.
But my question would be like, help people listen.
Right, help people figure it out.
Yeah. Like, okay, here's a good one. Islam, my brother. Okay, between the Mexicans, Hispanic, Latinos, they are our brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that message not getting around to everybody? I see him as my brother.
Mm-hmm.
Even when he walk in, he's fedged up.
Yeah.
So he's automatic my brother.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, why we're not, why is that not being spilled over to everything that we're in this knowledge? Because we need them just like they need us.
Right, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So why can't we pull that all together?
You got no activity out there, that's what it is.
Yeah, and also too the idea that we're all one, comes with our lessons. So once they get our lessons, then they can see, oh, okay, so we're actually connected like that. You know what I mean? But it also goes back with, we have to be the ones to tell our own. We know how it is beating this in our people.
Right.
And I'm sure it's the same thing with you.
Yeah.
Trying to convince our people, hey, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, we can say that we're Mexican, but we're Moor as well. Nah, we're Mexican. You know what I mean? Like, nah, we're black. It's the same thing that we're all dealing with. But it's the ones who have it to come together and get something done like that. And them seeing him being embraced with us like that would let them say, oh, well, okay, so we could be over there too or whatever, just like when we went to the powwow. You know what I mean? We went to the powwow and you're like, oh, like you guys know about powwows and all? Like, yeah, we know, because we know people who are just like you that tell us, yeah, the powwow's going on, come on down, or we wouldn't know. You know what I mean? Wait, you had a comment or question?
Sorry, Roger.
Oh, it's all good. It's all good.
What I've, from enlightening myself and learning, understanding that the different names of the tribes is where, we fell off not knowing who we are, and just that information is so fragmented that our brothers, that they call them Mexican now, are actually of one of the tribes of Israel.
The indigenous.
What's it? I can't even say it right now. It's a lost thought, but they are, just like you said, they are our brother. Like you say that I'm Choctaw, Louisiana, but those names break down into, there's so many different tribal tribes through the Americans, but we're all, like you say, you have not now your uncle.
Yeah.
You took on your uncle's last name, but that's really bridging back to those tribes.
Right.
And that's
The Choctaws originated in Mexico too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's why a lot of the, they were just coming together during the what's it called? The wars. There you go.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He's more.
I was just gonna add to. I travel quite a bit, and I'm gonna say it's just like that in this corporation. we're loved everywhere but here.
Yeah.
So I just left Puerto Vallarta. They statues are us. I'm in Cabo. They statues are us. I'm in Hawaii. They statues are us.
Yeah.
So they know who we are.
Mhm.
We just don't know who we are.
You don't know who
And
we are.
I think the love is way greater when you get outside of this corporation.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
big
because
time.
I'm someone that travels,
Big time.
and Brother Tarvis is with me.
Yeah.
I get depressed when I come back.
For real. Yeah, yeah.
Like when
'Cause it's not there.
when I'm in
Yeah.
the Caribbean,
Yeah,
when I'm
yeah,
in
yeah.
Central America, when I'm in Panama, like I get off the plane with nothing.
Yeah.
I have no worries, and in the minute I land in Miami, I'm depressed.
Yeah.
Because it's almost like an energy that puts me right back into being what they think this nigga,
Yeah,
this African American,
Mhm.
and over there, until I open my mouth,
Yeah.
they
They
have
don't
no
no
clue.
idea. Yeah, yeah.
Because
Yeah.
everyone looks like us.
Mhm.
Everything they worship and stand for is us. And the elders will tell you, welcome.
Welcome. Yeah,
We're
yeah.
glad you home.
Yeah.
And you feel that energy immediately. And I'm talking about dirt, poverty, poor with a smile.
Yeah, yeah.
And we sitting over here with thousands
Yeah,
of dollars in
yeah,
our pocket, miserable.
Miserable. Yeah.
So I will say, like, you do have to, because it's always the Americas.
Mhm.
We weren't just posted.
Right, yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
We
We're everywhere.
navigated all around.
Yeah.
So
Say that word again.
we navigated.
That's another
Yeah.
thing more.
Yeah,
You gotta
we're
travel.
navigating.
You gotta travel.
So when you kind of touch down other places,
Yeah.
like you said, that
Yeah.
energy and that love, because I just left Puerto Vallarta and didn't get any of that.
No.
And the darker skinned ones grew to me.
True more. Yeah.
The Spaniards kind of stayed away.
Yeah.
But I know who they are.
Yeah, yeah,
You know what I mean? Like I know the Spaniards
Right.
from the Aztecs.
Yeah,
people
yeah,
like
yeah,
me.
right.
And and I'm telling you, they statues are us.
Yeah.
They look like you. They look like me. Locks and cornrows.
Yeah.
That's who they worship.
I want to add to what the brother's saying. We were in DR, and it goes back to, I lost on how many feds, so it's 30. But the brother saw just this. We're in the Dominican Republic. He's Policia, and we went to visit what's called Cristobal Columbus. It didn't even exist.
Mhm.
We went to visit what's called this castle, was the fort, right, which is really a Moorish castle. And the brother saw what I had around my neck. He looked at me, he kept looking at it, and looked at me, and he said, "You come this way." So we go into a room. You tell them what we saw on the wall in the room.
Man, literature from 1400s, 1300s, everything had the word more.
We got pictures of it.
Yeah.
Everything was more, and it's just, and they have it.
Yeah, yeah.
In Spanish?
Yeah.
Yes,
Like but it was us, and they
Yeah.
showing the sellers, looking like you, looking like me, like they showing, and this is sitting right here in the DR, right in the castle.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about literature from the 1300s, the 1400s, people who settled, and it was us.
Yeah.
So once again, I just want to, it is your energy, you know?
Yeah.
The feds does matter, brother, you know, but it is also your energy.
Yeah.
You know, and I've noticed just meeting people, when you begin to study, like for instance, you'll notice that some of the men, even some of the women, we begin to look at each other. I'm trying to see what tattoos you have. I'm trying to see what ring you have. So when you're dealing with what you would call a European, you gotta understand some of those Europeans look just like you.
Yeah.
So don't get caught up in the complexion.
Yeah.
Some of your enemies are really they you.
Yeah. For
Just
real.
like you, but how they operate is the same way. If they're in these societies, if they're Masons and Shriners and the whole nine, they are looking for something on you. Sometimes they're looking past the feds. Anybody can order a feds.
Yeah.
Anybody can wear a feds.
Yeah, yeah.
A lot of times they're looking to see what tattoos does that brother have? What ring is he wearing? Oh, he's got copper on and he's got tiger's eye.
Yeah.
Okay, he must know. The brother is that's what he knows something. So the vibration of your appearance and the energy you put out in coordination with the jewels and everything I have to. I just came from hiking, brother. So.
Yeah. Oh, you straight.
I just want to tell you that your energy matters. You know, your energy and how you project yourself, it matters with your wife. Where you gonna go? All that matters. Don't think it don't matter because it does. But I'll rest, brother.
Slow.
I was in Germany. I was in the military.
Yeah.
I traveled too. So I've been to Germany, I've been to Denmark, I've been to Iraq, I've been to Jordan, I've been to Israel, I've been to all these places. And when you actually get deep down in it, those people look just like you.
The Germans know who the real Germans are.
They wear all over the wall.
Yeah.
They even wear us on their military, their patches. They even have us on their military uniforms, with black heads on them, stuff like that.
Yeah.
When you go to Nuremberg, Frankfurt, all those people, like, you run into people like us.
Yeah.
They call themselves Turks, but they us. You know what I'm saying? So we everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Even out in the desert.
Yeah.
Over in Iraq and Iran, I've been over us.
You know, the oldest Turks were the Toltecs.
Mm.
The Toltecs were the oldest Turks. They were the original Turks from here.
Mm.
The
And you
Moors.
ask them.
That's why they would wear turquoise.
Mm.
You ask them where they come from.
Turks and Caicos.
Always German.
Yeah.
Always been there.
Tuscarora, Turks.
Yeah.
You're gonna have more problems with African Americans and Negroes.
Oh yeah.
Christians and no offense, you know,
As we should. As we should.
That's who our enemies would be.
Yeah.
Christians,
Yep.
African Americans, blacks.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where your biggest battle gonna come from.
I call them no count Negroes.
Well, I always say I'm just tired of the African American and the Negro and the black.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I have to remove myself.
Oh yeah.
I'm not expecting them.
You gotta do it.
You know,
Yeah. You gotta do
Oh
it.
yeah. Especially, the Christians.
Yeah.
Now,
It's not
being
much.
that we're talking about traveling, how should Moors travel? And when we go to talk about getting those passports,
Mhm.
things like, I'm just gonna stick with the passport.
Yeah.
We do need to be, yes, we are planted here, this is our,
Mhm.
we need to travel.
Yeah.
We need to see, we need to experience on it. So, how are Moors supposed to travel?
But the me getting here was just living within contracts using the passport because I don't have any back issues or whatever like that. I always had one. When I came into this info, I said, okay, I'm just gonna get the fez on for the picture, reserve my rights on it, and keep it moving. Regardless of the name that's on there, that or the nationality card isn't me. Like I'm right here. The card, whether it's nationality card or whether it's passport, none of them are me. So showing either isn't, for me, it's not taking anything away from me being a Moor or not or whatever. And then the other side of it is that there's Moors who want to completely detach, and they want to talk about living within contracts. They didn't want to do that. It's just nationality card, and either they accept it. If they don't, then I guess I'm not going anywhere. And that's just what it is. Yeah.
Because I think once you obtain the knowledge, then you start to go back and say, well, now I can live in contract and I understand living in contract. And my field of work are passports.
Yeah.
So I work in that. So we don't want to limit ourselves just
Yeah.
So live in those contracts and do what you need to do to travel to see. Absolutely.
Yeah.
My fans is on my passport too.
Yeah.
As it should.
Yeah. And again, it's yeah.
Mothers are now, they see, they're putting the turbans on and they're not proclaimed, Moors, but they're coming into the understanding.
The practice, yeah.
I got my feds on my Arizona state ID. I took my picture with my feds on.
Yeah.
And if you guys need help with getting on your license, if you have a license, we have a place that we can send you to where we've already put them on notice.
Dealt with them, yeah.
Yeah, you can get your picture, your
Yeah.
driver's license with your feds.
Yeah.
They won't give you any problems. They'll put you to the front of the line, as a matter of fact.
Right,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
You should not have fear. I think that too is the whole thing. It's just having we don't say understanding, but we say the understanding. I'm with this. It's not me. I'm just moving.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't strap yourself down. That's the end of the line. If you strap yourself down, I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah.
I need to go.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, and even with stuff like this, like having the ability to go to these different places, you get to engage, like I say, you get to engage the people, you get to engage, people who are like minds, and it does something to be able to, like you're saying, be around people who they're on your frequency.
Hey, man,
You know what I mean? You could, yeah.
The last name they can say it ain't them.
Yeah.
That's bogus.
Right.
You know what I mean? You everywhere. You're loved everywhere.
Peace, brother. Peace.
It's love.
Yeah.
It's love.
Yeah. Peace, bro.
Yeah, so, everybody, my question, my concern would be really, for a lot of the new ones, people who are new to the information, and you had stuff going on prior to the knowledge you had.
Yeah.
The process of getting rid of and separating yourself from the issues that prevent you from fully walking forward and move forward. Right?
Yeah.
How does that go? Because we see so much different confusion between the processes.
Yeah.
Or whether it's just finding the resources,
Yeah.
resources, and making sure you write in, if you're doing your due diligence and proper steps. Like how is it that that's done? Like I have 7 children that I'm bringing along with me on my mission, so I want to make sure that I'm not doing anything incorrectly or doing anything that could harm or damage their future.
Right.
With me trying to stand in my honor, but still have to get rid of the baggage. Then move forward with them.
Yeah.
With them, because like if I become proclamated, what am I supposed to do with my children?
Right.
And you have these people in places that are like, yo, if you pay a fee, we'll get your children, we'll do everybody, all of this other stuff. And I'm like, some of that stuff just don't sound.
Doesn't drive. Yeah.
So as a new Moor that's also leading my children and trying to make sure I'm walking in the right path, how is it that I know for sure the sources that I'm dealing with are the correct sources?
Well, for take one of the example of one of the Moors or the few of the Moors that have heirs, have children. They have them with them when they're studying or whatever, so that they're getting it real time. They're not sheltering them from the info. Whatever the adult's getting, you're getting. You might not get it right now, but you sitting here listening to a whatever with me, like, so for example, one of the Moors, his son said one day to him, how come you're calling the travelway a driveway and we don't drive as Moors? Right. So then now you can't call the driveway anymore because of the air that you recognize, because he's with him studying. He doesn't know what's going on, but these little things are gonna sink in, because oh yeah, way more, way more, but like with the transition of the living, for example, nothing stops like that. You're just maneuvering different depending on what it is you're dealing with. So, for example, I had a job, right? Before I got into this info, right? I had a job. Going from there to here, the job still happens, because in the literature, Juali talks about all old business, just leave it as it is, and everything new, that's what you're doing with the Moorish paradigm in it, right? There's some Moors who go back and change everything, that they go back and change the passport, the license, or whatever, so it reflects their free national name. Others don't. But being that whatever you're doing before is old business, that stays as it is. You learn to live within contracts with those things. So, for example, when I got a new phone, that's new business. Then I said, okay, well, I'm going to put free national name on this. And it wasn't the issue. They took the ID and they did whatever. Now, they're providing a service. Once you're paying, they don't care what name you use. So it's not like, they accepted the Moorish, whatever like that. But But for people, you know, when they get the call and it says, you know, who Joel?
Peace, brother. Peace.
All right.
Peace.
Peace, man. All right, boy. Islam. All right.
Anything you need,
Yeah,
we're
sure.
media made, man.
All right.
Media made.
Okay. All right. I appreciate it. Islam, boy. 20 women, you can take one. Yeah. Give thanks, boy. All right. Yeah.
I got a good one.
Yeah.
So I've been to court many times. Won some, lost some. One time I got pulled over and had to go to court. I'm in the court, and you know it's like the pre-trial. So I'm in the pre-trial. So I'm telling the judge, I said, I want to see your delegation of authority. We were talking about it earlier. So I want to see your delegation of authority. And she was like, okay. She was trying to play her little game with it. She goes, okay, I'm gonna show you. I need you to sit down. I waited about 30 minutes in the court, waiting 30 people going by doing it. So finally, the clerk comes back with a piece of paper, right? So I'm like, now remember, I know they don't have a delegation.
Right.
They can't produce one, they can't have it. So when I get to the court, she brings it up to me, and I go up there to the desk. She goes, well, here, she slides it to me. Well, here's my delegation of authority. So I looked at it, I'm like, blank piece of paper.
Yeah.
so right there, they don't have no authority over you.
Yeah.
You let them have authority.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was telling earlier, when are you gonna stop being afraid?
Yeah.
That's all they have the power of, us being afraid. We're so brainwashed to being scared of them.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have authority.
You know, like how the mother said, that's the frequency that they.
Yeah. Fear frequency. Yeah.
That's the biggest thing you need to learn. And you can tell you the first thing on the record in the courtroom is status.
Yeah.
And if you don't establish status, now you gotta ask for a delegation of authority.
Yeah.
And you can establish status in the first place.
Yeah. And on the everyday level, the first thing is status, because first thing you want from somebody when you meet them is their name,
right?
Or what position they got or whatever. You know what I mean? Like that's the first thing. Status is always what applies first. It's just not frequent in the language because the people realize that, oh, well, if we start talking about that, then we can't make 10 grand telling these people all this other BS that we could be telling them.
Right.
It makes it easier. Makes it easier for them to play with people once the wrong information's out there. Islam.
Let's look at it like this right here. With their delegation of authority laws. They have delegation of authority because they're political body politics.
Mm-hmm.
Every county, every state, every courthouse is a subsidiary of the United States, which means that they're under a political jurisdiction. Now, they don't have it over you, but they do have it.
Yeah.
And
in their little realm,
they don't have it is when we show up with ours,
mm-hmm.
with our authorities, our authority. We have those documents. We have our Circle of Quran.
Mm-hmm.
We have our bylaws and our constitution and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So when we show up, we're showing up as an ecclesiastical body policy, not just an individual, because that's really what the temple is. The temple is an ecclesiastical body politic that has its own jurisdiction, its own religion, its own corporation, its own businesses, which is identifiable only to us. But if we're showing up as just individuals, occasionally you may escape through, you may not. But if we are showing up on that record, that the county recorder can go and pull that out, that hey, look, we are a political body politic, this is our temple, and we put it on the public record. Now I can go down to the county recorder's office, pull up the public record, bam, here we go, right here.
Mm-hmm.
Now I need to know why. In other words, I want to do a order to show cause. Why are you pulling me in here? By what treaty are you pulling me in? I don't care about your authority no more. I'm asking by what treaty are you pulling me into this court? I need to see that. By what body of law? In other words, it's a habeas corpus. When we say habeas corpus, we always say, well, show me the body, produce the body. No, just produce the body alone.
Yeah.
What are you going by?
Right.
Because here's my body of law, and here's your body of law. That's your political jurisdiction. This is my political jurisdiction. When we start like that, then they'll go away. That's kind of like my viewpoint of all the stuff that I've been saying.
Yeah.
So what you're saying, it would be like Sharia law versus their jurisdiction?
In actuality, they call this the Sharifian Empire over here. All of the Americas is the Sharifian Empire. Sharifian.
Sharifian.
In treaties, when you read the treaties, you will see there, or there's a particular case out there, France versus the United States. And when you read the France versus the United States, they always refer to this place over here, the Americas, as the Sharifian Empire, right? So,
what date was? What date that was from? You know what date that was from? That.
It goes way back.
Way back?
We can go way back. When you read the case, they go all the way back to the 1100s. Talking about the Sharifian Empire over here.
Yeah.
Brother,
It's an interesting thing because there's a book out there, The Algonquian Conquest of 1100, 11,500, something like that. So they're referring to this place as the Sharifian Empire.
Yeah.
Or the Grail El Aqsa, right, as far as west. So, like when I was hearing this Muslim guy speaking about it. Now he's very heavy into the linguistics of, the language. But if you listen to him very closely, he say three of the pilgrimages that his father told him they need to take was one of them was the El Aqsa. He said it really fast, so he's talking about over there. Because when you talk about, you got the Isa prayer, right, and then you have the Sharia prayer. The Sharia prayer, they always face in the west. You know what I'm saying? That's over here. But when you get into the case, and then they break it down into Title 22, sections 141 through 142, that's C.M. Bay's work.
Yeah.
Right. So in 1948, that case came about. It was adjudicated in 1952.
Yeah.
And in 1952, and in 1956, 1957, the United States relinquished jurisdiction in Morocco. Why would they relinquish jurisdiction in Morocco over there? The United States don't have nothing to do with, North Africa over there. They're talking about right here.
Yeah.
Okay, so when they relinquished the jurisdiction, and the reason why they had to is because they had lost most favored nation status in 1906 at the Madrid conference. The Algeciras conference, which really was a treaty, but they lost it way before then. They lost it in the 1880 Madrid conference, the Madrid Treaty, in the city of Fez, which is actually New York. Okay, so they lost it then, but in 1906 they really lost it because the United States was nothing more than janissaries for Great Britain, Portugal, and France. But they shared status with France, and when France gave up the jurisdiction and Britain gave up the jurisdiction, the United States lost its jurisdiction also, but they continued to exercise extraterritorial jurisdiction all the way up until 1956 and 1957. But we don't know about it. So we're still going to court arguing with these people, not knowing that all we have to do is pull up the international record and operate as a political body.
Yeah. Diversity. Yeah.
When you say body politic, and you said earlier the temple was a body politic. Body politic. We don't have a temple out here, or because I saw on the flyer it said temple number.
That's our temple. Yeah, in Toronto. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. So the tour is like a temple initiative of PR, going out to everybody, make sure they know about Noble Drew Ali, make sure they know about their nationality, their birthrights, and make sure they get together with other Moors.
What can you tell us about Noble Drew Ali?
I think the brothers here, they have.
Who? Oh, they do have a team.
Yeah, I believe so. You're 8, right?
So, yeah, Temple Eight.
Oh, okay.
I approved Simone,
Mm.
cat thing.
It's here in Arizona?
No, it's in Tacoma, Washington.
Oh.
Now, we had one Temple 2A,
We still have it.
and we still have it, but I closed it down because people act like it was church.
Yeah.
And then it got down to just 4 people.
Yeah.
And so $200 a rent a month for 4 people did not make economic sense.
Right.
So we
It's only cost $200 a month.
200 to rent the space. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was 100, but it's 200. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, when we had people come in, once we got the charter, that's when everybody left, because they're coming in, bringing their ammo, their guns, their clothes, and you're selling it in our.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm saying, okay, if you're doing this using the company, doing it, the company needs money.
Right.
Now everybody's
Yeah.
no.
So it is, or it's not one right now, but.
It's in
Yeah.
limbo.
Yeah.
So is it still a like a body politic?
I still have the charter. I still have the charter.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's just the Moors wanting
You gotta get active.
Wanted it to-
You gotta come together.
to be happening.
The
You know what I mean? That's
problem is they don't understand
Yeah.
that we are already a political body politic.
Yeah,
We don't
yeah.
have to try to create it.
yeah, it's already there.
We had
Yeah.
already done.
It's already
They're
there.
not understanding that
Yeah.
we are a political body politic. So, in other words, I'm not interested in the United States.
Yeah.
I don't care about the United States law. I don't care about the codes. The only reason why I know those things and study those things is because what Brother Cujo said, it's their stuff.
Yeah.
It's to keep them in check. It's not to keep us in check.
Mhm.
But we are in a totally different political body politic. Our law is pretty direct. It's basically from the trees. Or we have our Sharia law. But we don't, I ask people, why come we not talking about our law? When we talk to these people, why are we not talking about our law? Like he said. I know what your law says, but this is what mine says.
Yeah.
This is what my servant says. This is what my Quran says. This is what our bylaw says.
So that's where the diversity comes in.
So we have to understand that we are that political body politic, that we're not trying to make up, and we're not trying to do anything weird. They already know this stuff.
Mhm.
They know it. If you even pick up their statutes, they'll tell you that Arizona Revised Statutes in Article 1 will basically tell you that the common law should be the law of this state, in every court of this state should be. Well, what's the common law? The common law is not Title 18, Section 1001.
Mhm.
No, the common law is number 1, the treaties, and then the Constitution. And they know that stuff right there, but we don't know it. And we got to put in the tab, but we got to do it at the bottom.
Yeah.
We gotta do it at the-
And this is the thing again.
I think the problem is, you might have a court date, but you don't want nobody going to the court.
Yeah.
You're going by yourself. I mean, I lost my house basically because there were no other Moors there but me.
Yeah.
Had to be a Moor. Had it been there, I would have won, because when the judge found out that I had no contract with these people taking my house,
Yeah.
he was pissed.
Yeah.
But after he gave me the house back for a couple minutes, he said, they're gonna come after you with another process to get you out.
Right.
And they did. He said,
Yeah.
I don't want to hear nothing about this contract in future pleading. And he redacted all that out. So I have no proof that this man ain't got no contract with me, because I have nobody there with me.
Yeah.
So it's me against my word against theirs.
Right.
You know who they're gonna be.
Yeah.
Because it's administrative.
Yeah.
And so that was the biggest thing. And King Tour, we went to a traffic court. 18 of us, wasn't it?
18 of them.
As the magistrate looked at my license, looked at me and said, "Oh, that looks like an older person. That can't be
Yeah,
him."
exactly. That was funny. That was
Case
funny.
dismissed.
Yeah.
I've even beat a case with the straw man that's standing right there. Where's Gary Ford? He's right here. He can't speak. I'm speaking for it.
Yeah.
And then he said, okay, could you tell him that he can put these plates on a registered vehicle? You understand? Case dismissed.
Yeah.
And I had 3 people with me.
Yeah.
Well, that's what Brother Crucial was saying, it's administrative, because like, where's all these records? Who in the temple has a record that you have a house?
Yeah.
Who in the temple has a record that your car is registered with the temple?
Yeah.
Not with the state, but registered with the temple, because that is temple property.
Yeah.
Your house is temple, it's not your house. That property belongs to the temple. It's a trust. That car belongs to the trust. And when they come after the trust, then everybody in the trust has an interest in the trust. Because economically, if they mess with him, they mess
with everybody.
So it sounds like we need a time.
Right.
This is not rocket science. It's not rocket science.
Right, just like how just like how that hit you like that. That's what this is. That's what it is.
And then you said Drew Ali.
Yeah.
Can you tell us?
Oh, you were making reference to Noble Drew Ali.
Well, yeah, you said about the politics. He already set it up.
So in late 1920s, Noble Drew Ali had an organization called Moorish Holy Temple of Science, and Moorish Holy Temple of Science was registered as a civic organization so that the people could learn law, right? They got him out of the way because the people were learning the law, and everything was getting back into the hands of the Moors, right? This is 1929 when they assassinated him. So by the time 1930, this is where you have all the different schools of thought that we have today, saying that, we're black and we're gods and we're Asiatics and we're all these things, when all of them should have been sticking to the program that we're Moors. Then everybody should have been saying, Morish, whatever they're calling themselves, right? So when we go through all the lessons that Noble Drew Ali presented, we realize that he was bringing back our nationality so that we can get out of the slave status that majority of our people were in at that time. So there's in the oral history, it talks about him going to presidents, for example, to retrieve certain things, right? Going and get our flag back, going and meeting with different governors, going to inaugurations of different governors and all that, because he was recognized as the statesman for the Moors. All the activity that he was doing. It wasn't some preacher man going to meet somebody. He was a dignitary of the Moors. He went to Cuba for the Havana, Cuba for the conference, Pan American Conference. When you look at Chicago, he was instrumental in Oscar the Priest getting into office in Chicago. So his activity was beyond some religious leader, whatever. He was taking steps that people who look like us weren't really taking during that time. It was a political position that he was taking, and that's where we were supposed to go with this. Looking at it from that perspective, so that way we see the seriousness in having a body politic, recognizing that when there was all these proclamations that came out, different proclamations from different states, there was House resolutions that came out, and all of them are talking about Moorish Science Temple being a theocracy, right?
What's that?
Theocracy. So looking at
rulership on a God.
the power that we have to do what we're doing coming from a higher power. And if it comes from there, then nobody can say that you can't do what it is that you're doing.
So was he like because like even on your shirt it say the prophet?
Yeah.
So was he like a religious leader or?
It's looked at like he's a religious leader, right? But when you look up prophet, it doesn't have to do with religion. It's presented like that because if they let you know that prophet is a seer, a prophet is one who sees future events about to happen and lets you know stuff's gonna happen, and then when it happens, now you know that, oh yeah, well, this guy must have been a prophet. So when we go through the literature, there's all these things that Noble Drew was talking about that is happening even right now. There's things that's happening, you know, having a quote unquote black vice president and a European president. That stuff Noble Drew talked about. You know, Barack Obama having a black president and a European vice president. That stuff Noble Drew talk about. Hey, this thing's about to happen.
So it basically is like a religion, but it's just more to it.
Way more. Yeah, way more.
Like
The presentation.
Yeah. With self, you know what I mean? Higher self.
Well, if you will, Noble Drew Ali was actually an emperor.
Yeah.
He was the fifth Grand Marquis Deja Rouge of the Habsburg Empire, which means that he was the emperor of the Americas and most of Eastern Europe.
On top of the religious thing. Right. So as you look at it like that, you're looking at, 5 pages. You look at it like he's emperor, you're looking at encyclopedia with all the different, you know what I mean? Whatever. That's what this is.
That's what the Indian Wars were about.
Yeah.
Like nobody was claiming that sovereignty until he was reawakened. Mm-hmm. He claimed it. So you're the only one claiming it. You're the only one conscious. And by default, you're emperor.
Then you're it. Yeah. Islam.
Islam. Giving honor to the Grand Sheikh.
Islam more. Give thanks.
Actually, to build on what the Grand Sheikh said is that what the Prophet was doing was establishing a nation for us to have now, because it was things that you needed to have a nation, including the flag, people, constitution, and these things are the 5 things that had to be established for nationhood and to be recognized here in Americas, because it was taken from us in 1774 and moving forward to 1778. So he was reestablishing the nation for us to be protected within. So Grand Sheikh wasn't going deeper into it. He was saying he was doing these things, but that's what he was doing, and that's what he did do for us. That's why he's my prophet. See, because it's all those who came before him that was great men that was establishing things, and afterwards with Elijah Muhammad and these guys too, but they didn't build a nation for us to be protected in, right? And for us to be able to rise, because it's nations on the earth, right? And we are among the nations of the earth, right? So Islam, if you understand it from that perspective, and that's what we got. So when we talk about the trust and the estate, we have a nation to be proud of and amongst. And if we don't be careful, then you'll have some of these other European nations saying Noble, even though the prophet was a universal prophet, they'll be saying he was their prophet. If we don't be careful to protect our prophecy and understand who he is.
To build on that, we on the internet we was having a problem between religion, Muslim, and all that. We was arguing. Everybody was arguing about that, and it's just like the prophet. He put us under religion to be protected.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So we won't be molested. You see what I'm saying? So we're not religious, Like we're not supposed to be in church, but we're protected. So we can use that religious. So like say they want to give you the jab. You got religion, say, all right. It's not my religion. The jab. Or anything. That was to protect us. See, then we're like the dirty Moors are infiltrating all this stupid stuff. And it's just simple. He protected us. He gave us protection. So we understand what protection means fully when we understand that we're protected.
So you said he did give us a religion? So
He gave us a religion to be protected.
what's it called?
Old-time religion.
Old-time religion.
Islamism.
It's a science, bro. It's a science.
There it is. It's the
Relying
science.
yourself on science.
So you got to rely on yourself.
So,
You got to rely on yourself. That's how you become a master. You see what I'm saying?
Not pray or sing
blind
or
faith is
yeah.
different than science. I mean, blind faith is just praying and
hoping some stuff
You say a
happens.
prayer in the beginning,
Yeah.
like in the beginning of the
Yeah. That was like the protection of our religion, so we can be protected under religion. So nobody can come in and tell us that we can't do that.
That's what an ecclesiastical body politics
Yeah.
is. It has a religion and it has a civics. They all work hand in hand. But I have to say, I have to give honors to this brother, Julio Grand Chief, because I'm glad you came, because this is a well-needed discussion.
Yeah,
And I know
most
everybody talking about the purpose of the administration. I get exactly what you're saying.
Yeah. And when he's talking about, the brother was talking about him bringing us back into being a nation, right? How many other religions out there do you know that have a flag to represent it?
Only one is the Catholic.
Yeah.
The Pope.
He's the only one. But he took what Nova Jew did.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You saying he said, he said,
Understood what it was.
I'm gonna do the same thing. And then see if we would learn to do that, or we start studying, we all could have that. But we do have it.
And then when you look at that, that was around the same time. Vatican is 1913 too. So if we're looking at a template or an example of where we're supposed to be at, right? North America, South America, Central America, the adjoining islands, supposed to be like Vatican right now.
You talking about like the church?
Yeah, like the actual city recognized as a government. They don't need no passport to go anywhere. They go wherever they want. With all of that is what should have been happening with us.
Right.
But because of the infiltration, because of people trying to stop this, because of like people coming into it to divert the message.
You got Freemasons, agents, gatekeepers, all them people came in to deter us from getting what we need to be getting. Because they don't want this change. Because everybody's pockets lined up.
Everybody's lined up once we say we're black. Once we say we're Negro, once we say we're colored, then we don't count in humanity. Right? But if this is our land and we don't count, then what's gonna happen? People are gonna come in here and do whatever they want with the land, just like you see them doing.
The state is abandoned. I go to your house is abandoned. I just come in, it's mine now.
Yeah.
And that's what they've been doing. All the traders. And it's our people.
Yeah.
So
like the abandonment, for example, is like you have your spot where you live at, you got your house, and then we come there and we limit you to washroom. Washroom's your house, and you're going around as if that's what it is. You know what I mean? So you're all using as a washroom. Everything's happening in there. Well, damn, I can't cook. I can't. Well, people are racist there. You complain about racism. Nobody's doing anything about it because really it's your house. All you gotta do is
they tax you for that.
Yeah.
They tax you for going in the washroom.
Yeah. Tax you for going in the washroom. You know.
Oh, you need water? That's gonna be 30 cents.
You got to number 1, you gotta show a license. Yeah. You got number 8, you gotta show a license, right? But you're in your own house, and you don't, and it's not. You're not figuring out that somebody else is using your house to live in, and then you get washroom.
Matter of fact, on that religious part you're talking about, for the bill on this here, when it was worse than that. Actually, they said come outside for a minute, and you came, and then they locked the door.
Lock you up.
So what the prophet had to do when he said he had to come around his elbows to bring you back, he used the religion to come and reestablish it, because then it would have been against their constitution. It would have been catch-22 with the religious clause.
So is that what we're supposed to do today, or what?
What you mean?
Like, because basically we don't got no temple here. We don't, we're no body politic here. So.
No, yeah,
in the meantime, oh, excuse me.
Yeah, no, I was saying in the meantime, this is it.
And so it's your duty to learn and put out there. For instance, you see the Grand Sheik here. So then you have to be mentored. We can't sit with brothers and sisters wanting to go into the 5th and 6th degree without first establishing the 1st degree. So understand that you do have the eavesdroppers who sit around and they get this here knowledge, and then all of a sudden they're a Grand Sheik.
Yeah.
No 18, and they got this here knowledge to the 7th degree, and they go in and spit. They don't have the 1st degree. When the brother was talking about his children and things, that gets established at home. The 1st degree, you're not black, and then you study. Now, what is the study? The study is the 2 selves, because you put up in that lower self. That's that blackness. That's a poison. One of the greatest poison that man has is words. And so you have to dig yourself out of that. Because even if you come into the temple and you do these things and you're still black, it's a problem, man. You're a problem in the temple, black. And so the study. So find you a mentor and sit up under a mentor. I had a great mentor, R. Marcus Bay. He passed, he's 90 years old, but find yourself a mentor, to study under and be coachable, be willing to listen, be willing to learn, and then you can sit and lead your family and lead your children, and you'll know.
Yeah.
You'll know. Because what they say, a wise man, it's 2 advantages a wise man has towards a non-wise man, 2 disadvantages that a non-wise man has towards a wise man. The 2 advantages that a wise man has, when somebody opens his mouth, he knows who knows and who don't know. The 2 disadvantages that the non-learned man has, when somebody opens his mouth, he don't know who knows and who don't. So you have to learn, and learn from the 1st degree. Dig into that 1st degree. You're not black. Prophet brought us these degrees and then move on into these things. Of course, we want to move into greater things.
Yeah.
This is our state. This is our land. This is this. We want those things. And the lower self want those things more than the higher self, really.
Yeah.
The higher self want to get up out of here. So we have to be careful, with that. But study under the Grand Sheik, or find a Grand Sheik to study under. Study under, when we talk about Sharia law and stuff, in that law, they got sheikhs.
Yeah.
And then they've been in studying for 40 years, 60 years of their life.
Yeah.
Study, find one to study with,
So basically that was, I think, the brother question earlier, like how like without a temple here, like where do we start? Like,
Now look at it like this.
Yeah, with the right sources, you're saying it was the right sources.
Well, we support our brother, man. Our brother brought the green sheet here.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm
You
getting all
need
the
it?
numbers.
Okay.
That's why I'm getting all the numbers so we can get our brother.
Yeah.
So that we can back brother, so we can get something established. So we want to put the carriage before the horse.
Right.
You know?
You gotta remember,
We got the
the temple
green
is
sheet
What's
here.
your name, brother?
Reginald L.
Yeah. So we're gonna support brother Reginald.
Yeah. You know, so this, and again, then you have, you have the elders, you got mothers,
Oh, you out here too, right?
you know, it's what you're looking for could manifest. Like the Moor said, it's, 200 a month, whatever it is, whatever it is, whether it's a basement, whether it's a, yeah, it's already there. Everything's already been done. You know what I mean?
He gave it to you.
Yeah, yeah. Brought you everything it takes to save a nation.
So how long you gonna be here?
I'm here till tomorrow.
Oh.
Tomorrow.
Well, you better ask questions. Ask questions now.
You got 1 hour. Yeah.
This phone works.
Yeah.
So going back to what the sister here was talking about, understanding the contract. Now, I tell you what, I made a mistake, and probably, well, he made a mistake, I made a mistake, and a brother, located Bakari Hill is right. The problem, the reason why we lost our property is because we had nobody to stand with it. But I want to read this to you. You all know about UCC code, right? It's not really for us. It's commerce, but it's what we're supposed to enforce on them. So here's something, this is Article 9 of the Uniform Commercial Code, where it's talking about certificates of title, a security interest in property subject to statute, regulation, or treaty, which they're telling you is that all commerce and all contracts are subject to treaty. So what Brother Joel was telling us, Grand Chief was telling us when he first started speaking about those records, who's keeping those records in the temple. So somebody should have had a record that I had a property at whatever location, right? But that property is not my property. When I get the property, I put the name of the trust, which is the temple. The temple is the owner of that property. I'm just living there, but it's the property of the temple. So now, if we're having a problem with, should I say, with their fake foreclosures, because all foreclosures are fraud, because as I just mentioned, there are certificate of title, right, which they never give you. You pay for it, but they never give it to you. Okay? So you have to know that okay, when you start questioning, okay, where's my title at? I paid for it. Here's the disclosure statement that says that right here on this line it says that I paid. Well, where is that at? Okay. But me as an individual, I don't have a real problem with it, right? But as the temple, as the property, which is that ecclesiastical body politic, they're gonna have to answer. Because it's not me anymore. It's all of us. You are losing financial interest. Everybody in here is losing financial interest if they come out to look. You know what I'm saying? So, as he said, the prophet said, it takes finance to build a nation. So, how do we build the finance of the nation? Right? That certificate is attached to what? It's a financial instrument. Mm-hmm. That instrument belongs to me now. I paid for it. You know? You get the deed or the deed of trust, warranty deed, whatever they want to call it, right? Along with that certificate and the letter, they call it a letter of it's a letter of protection is what it's called, which protects them, it protects you from anybody coming up to your property or claiming your property. The reason why they can do that is because they never give you this.
Right.
Okay. So, but if it's in the name of the temple, right? I believe that's also in the oral statements where throughout he stated that nobody is to get property.
Yeah, unless it's not, yeah. Unless it's his name or the temple's name, yeah.
Right, and, you know, the grand body is saying, okay, well, I want to go into this project, I want to do this. So you take that to the grand body is gonna say, hey, this is a good deal or a bad deal. Okay, so if I'm taking that certificate, which is a financial instrument, there's at least 5 to 6 different instruments attached to one piece of property. Each one of those are financial instruments. Okay, you have to get those instruments, right? So when they record the deed at the county recorder's office of the difference, if you have a certificate, which is called the allodial title, right? And sometimes they call it a Torrance title, right? Where's that going back? That's going back to who you are.
Yeah.
Okay. You ain't gonna be able to get around it. But it's called the Torrance title in some places they call it certificate title. Okay, so once I get that, there's no need to record a deed at the county. They have to give a release of the mortgage after that time, which means now you owe nobody nothing. Zero. They owe you now. But you don't know that they owe you because you don't have that certificate. Right. You can't prove it. So if I run the CUSA on the certificate, it's going to give me a portfolio. Inside of that portfolio is going to be a prospectus which tell you what all the financial instruments that's attached to it that you can invest into it. Well, we're doing that, and then it spreads out. So people you can buy shares. So they're doing it anyway. So why not us, the members of the temple, buy shares into your property, right? Which that means that they can't take it away from you because they about to bring a claim against everybody.
Right, that makes sense.
You know?
The strong will come in and knock them all
It's like having an heirs deed. An heirs deed is very difficult for them.
Tell them also, that, you know, like Brother Man said, I don't want to put my stuff in the temple that's dirty. There are things that we can do, that you can do as an individual before you put it into the temple.
Yes.
You can always register, like we register ourselves with the post office.
Yeah.
So now we have a record that we are the only one that's in that current book, that we're the only one registered to this property for that.
With the postmaster general.
Yes.
Yeah, it's still yours.
It's still mine.
It's still yours.
Now I need it to the temple. The
See, it's your trust.
Yeah. Temple
Because
can just
they're
take it.
supposed to issue an EIN number.
Right.
On any property. They're supposed to issue the EIN number to the property, which means
Yeah.
that the trustee. Most of the time, which is the trustee, most of the time is going to be the title insurance company. They're responsible under what they call the blue sky laws to do your investing for you. They're supposed to get a cut from that, but you're supposed to get the main cut, right? So when you run that CUSA number and get the portfolio on it, that cuts everybody off.
You got a like a class or like like you know where you teach this stuff?
I do, but I don't. I haven't done it because I get so much flack from it.
I got in.
How? But I mean, like you know what you're talking about. You know,
I've been through it.
Yeah, you've like been through. So how can we like basically like
The number right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's put that number on that paper.
I don't work.
You live out here too?
I live right here.
Yeah.
I live in Mason.
I got a question.
Yeah.
Who's the grand body more scientific right now?
I would say the Moorish nation.
Is it the?
I would say the Moorish nation.
Because the ones
All the Moors who know themselves and are studying and are unifying and are, you know, calling each other and having their own issues and sorting their stuff out. That's the grand body.
Yeah, because then the grand body is one that's holding us from being.
Yeah.
We're holding us back.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they say what we're doing is not right.
Yeah. It's always our own. It's always our own.
Grand body, what?
So how the
We're arguing about semantics.
Yeah.
About this person said that, but what does the prophet say? takes finance.
Yeah.
Right? One of the first things you want to do is you want to set yourself free financially. Right? Do all your studying, like the brother, like the grants you just said. That study that you pull from off of RV Bay, that's a 1.5 to 3 year study process. But in the meantime, while you're doing that, before you get ready to drop all your documents on these devils, I don't call them Christians because I stopped calling people Christians. They're of the synagogue of Satan. That's what they are. Because the Coptic Christians or the Coptic Jews, Yehudi, not no Jews, but no J. You can go back to Enoch, okay, and he was before Adam and Eve, if you will. Okay, so get your finances in order, because once you have your finances in order and you're in control of your own assets, right? They're gonna be unable to attack you, and then you bring that to the people. Everything you do, you're creating a trust, right, for yourself and your family. Then your greater trust is the temple. The temple is the greatest trust. So it is the main body politic that you want to be submissive to, right? Of course, you got brothers like Brother Cujo, you got brothers like Brother Sear. You know, you have the Lean Bay, what's the brother out in Arkansas? I forget his name.
Obashango, Brother Obashango. Yeah, Grand Chief Nature.
You have people like that, right? That you know that you're going to be in good hands with, right? So if you know that you're going to be in good hands with them, why not bring your assets to those people for that protection? You know what I'm saying? The brothers, he come here. So if you know that the grand chief is that dude, that God, that imam, that sheikh, that you can bet that he's gonna get down to business with you, then that's what you're supposed to be doing. Nothing that you have belongs actually to you. It belongs to all of us. But we have our guardians that have shown themselves and proved themselves, such as the brother have, that we need to bring our assets to so that we can have protection under that body policy. So, but I've been taking these financial courses for over 2 years now. But it's not just that. I was taught by a brother who was a land conservationist. He worked for the government. He was a police officer at one time, you know what I'm saying? He did all sorts of things. And so he taught me certain things in law, for instance, like the land patents, right? People think land patents are useless. No, they're not. I think that ultimately they're fraud because it's their stuff. The land patent is the best thing that they know for their law, right? That keeps them in check. But as I just said, that title that the certificate gave is actually the allodial title. So people saying, well, I got a allodial title. Well, really, do you have it? Because they never gave it to you. 1906, the Algeciras Conference, where the United States lost their most favored nation status at. What did they do 2 years after that? Chicago fire. They started burning Chicago down. Right, all our cities and stuff like that. He started burning our cities, San Francisco, so on and so on, right? And so they came up with title insurance companies. You need insurance, and who all those insurance companies go back to? Germany. Germans are running this stuff, and who are the Germans? Germans are nothing more than Romans, and they look just like you and me. Not all of them are pale skins. The nobility that's running the pale skins look like you and me. Okay, so when you start looking at it like that wait a minute. So the title insurance companies are fraud. That means the whole industry is fraud, right? So then the next thing you want to be looking for is what? A allodial title. You want to look for next after the logo title, you got the land patent, after the land patent, you have the imperial title, and after the imperial title, you have the aboriginal title. There's nothing more than your blood. You solely saying it's your blood. You don't get anything higher than that.
Yeah.
All right. So when they lost their status, since we don't know that, they always have been indebted to us, right? And so, but if you don't control your own assets, they're going to do it for you. And the only way that we're going to protect that is through the temple.
Yeah. Well, and then you could just slash, temple / body politic / nation / theocracy / whatever else is out there for us to call this, for us to do something with it.
The colonial jurisdiction is a dead jurisdiction.
Yeah.
So it's not real. It's like the word of ours.
And they've been dead. Been dead for a while. Yeah.
That's right.
They've been dead for a while. So this is the start of what you're looking, what you envision. This is the start of it. You're seeing it before the manifest, and again with because all these Moors in here, we all got the same master teachers and all that, and it's not going to be any, well, that Moor said that and all that stuff, because we're all in the same sphere of Moorish knowledge and how this is supposed to be looked at or how it's supposed to be presented, so that's why it's not I don't need to come here every week to do this. We got Moors here already, you know what I mean? I'm just here just to light the thing and then I'm out, and then these Moors are going to carry on fanning the flame, right?
How many here from Arizona? I am. No excuse now.
Yeah.
He brought us together.
Yeah. That was the plan. Plan worked to perfection. Yeah.
That's all you do.
Yeah, and I mean, and even with like where we're at, we have our meetings on Sundays, and every Sunday we meet up and we have our temple meetings, and Moors that go to that, that's their charge for the week, to get through whatever else they got to deal with out there. And then they know that, yep, the next Sunday we'll be right back there again to get charged up again, because this is the only way that we're gonna get it done. You know what I mean? All hands on deck. Noble Drew Ali, who we say if we're in the sports realm, he's the MJ or whatever. So, and everybody else coming off the bench. So, let's leave it all on the floor. Leave it all on the field, because we don't got nothing else to go back to if this doesn't work. If this doesn't work, we're just going back to being individual Moors, and living our life. How about we put this thing together and get some stuff done for, Moor back there said he has 7. So all the Moors in here have children, and it's for them, So in 30 years, they're making the transition to it's them up here, you know what I mean, and they're carrying on the work that's supposed to be carried on.
A good example is the little Moor that walked right by. He said hello. Yeah. One day he's gonna say, I seen some people. And it's
Remember when?
It's gonna snap right in his head.
Remember when? Yeah.
I seen him, and he's gonna go look up and say,
"Oh, that's what those people. That's what they were about." Yeah. Islam.
Thanks for coming to Arizona.
Islam.
Everybody got my contact information.
Yeah.
Wintertime walk. Wintertime
Peace, boys. Yeah, we'll be in touch.
Okay.
All right.
Peace, everybody.
Islam.
Like I got my grandchildren so messed up. They scared to use the word nice.
Yeah.
They know what it means, you know, because they hear me all the time. I'm
Yeah.
always talking to somebody, or I'm always reading something. And, you know, occasionally they may stop by and say, Paul, what you doing?
Yeah.
I said, well, I'm reading this. You want to sit down for a second and I'll show you some stuff.
Mm.
And they sit there and listen for a little
Yeah.
while and they go, and I don't think they really listen.
Yeah, they're listening.
Until I might be driving down the street and they see something.
Yeah.
They grandmother asked me something and said, hey, what you doing in school today? Well, this boy, this girl did this. And then she said, what you say to him? I said, I called him nice. And they start laughing because they know that they're talking about, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, if you ask them certain things, they'll just look at you like,
yeah,
is this a trap? You know, you're trying to trap me with your words. Because they understand linguistics better than
The inside joke for that is that nice means foolish. The origin of the word nice doesn't mean what we've been trained that it means. It means foolish. Yeah. Yeah.
Like you call it black. Like, you know the origin of black. You're like, wow, I'm not none of that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Don't use the word smart either.
Yeah.
Thankful.
Yeah. You know, and all that is just part of the pale.
Are you feeling? Yeah, see, those like I've been putting on the internet now that when people talk about black and all that in these terms like Hispanic, Latino, I basically type in the European divided us by names, culture, language.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's how they divided us. So like all these names that we keep calling ourselves, you know what I'm saying? That was the division. And then I type on there about like the European, they own these terms, right? You know what I mean? They copyrighted it. You know what I'm saying? They took the word. See, like Moor, they don't own Moor. They don't own that. Who owns that? We do. Moorish. We do that. Moorish Americans, the prophet owns that. They can't own that word. You can't do business in another man's name. So if you call yourself Cherokees and all that, they own that word. See, they don't own Moor. Moor free. Call yourself black, you slave. Call yourself Latino, you slave. Indian, you slave. Now we're having a big thing now about Indians and stuff like that. We can't make the switch because we've been told that, well, okay, now we're Indians. And everybody's want to be Indians. And it's not. In 1621, they substituted for Moorish. They took the word Moorish and gave us Indian. See the trick in that is? The words are the tricks. So if you own these words, you can't do business in another man's name. Yeah. So once you understand these words, then you start, oh man, this is crazy. The trick is, like last night I was going to things. So, you know, we talking about Blackamoor. Well, we know Blackamoor, but black is pale. So it's pale more. So we can't be black. We ain't pale. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
See how that was? I'm just going through the word like, you know, I know what's it, but I was like, wow. So they tricked us anyway. See, the elite took the word Blackamoor, they let it in there for so long, so they get used to it, and they took the word more off of it and left it black.
Just like Wiggle.
Yeah, they
like what?
Wiggle.
Yeah. You know, never heard of it.
Yeah.
Huguenot.
Yeah.
Huguenots are Moors that, you know, that word means dark, right? Huguenot or swarthy or tawny, you know. I would be, if you, what we call light skin, that would be tawny, right? Or swarthy means dark, or you know what I'm saying? It's like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Come on, man, what are you doing? That means that word means a dark person. Sword. I get on the day, said sword for day, sword for day. Come on, man. They playing games.
Dark nigga.
Exactly. But all it takes is, once you start studying, then you start putting the pieces together, you be like, oh, they tricked us.
They
so
played
bad.
us good.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Played
You
us
got
good.
but
Islam.
Franchi, you have the 101.
Yeah.
And on the 101, Silver Drawi is carrying a woman.
Mm-hmm.
And she's got 9 drops of water coming off her, and across her thigh is humanity.
Mm-hmm.
Right, he's got 1 foot on the land, 1 foot on the sea.
Yeah.
Have you ever, you haven't got a chance to go up to Montezuma yet, have you?
Mm-hmm.
There's a picture on the wall up there of Montezuma carrying a
Oh, carrying a woman. Yeah. We saw that in North Carolina too. They had it in a restaurant. We went to this Mexican spot.
Now,
As soon as you walk in the door, right there. Yeah.
And this was right down the road.
Yeah.
You go straight down 17, you run right into Montezuma. You know, so and there's so many other things that they have hidden here. That's not even funny. You know, like they got the Temple of Isis over in Grand Canyon. Go up to Walnut Road. I got, since I was in the military, I have a pass. I can go to anywhere for free.
Yeah.
And so I just occasionally just go and travel to all these places, to see what's there. You know, it's interesting because when you look on the road, which is a 20-mile hike of cabins down in the mountains, right? 20 miles one way and 20 miles back the other way, and then you go across the other side. It's 20 miles one way and 20 miles back the other way. So you got 40 miles, really 80 miles of just more stuff now. You know, that you can just take pictures of. So, you know, it's you'll find some amazing things here.
And then that's and then that's part of the you know, when you're looking at, when we were talking about creating the culture. So now, you know, every whatever, there's the hike or the tour. The Moors get together, we have our whatever, and we're about to go somewhere. You know what I mean? And doing that as a body.
You're not going as a tourist.
Yeah, you're doing that as
that's your stuff. You're the ambassador of all that. So you're not.
There's actually another museum in right next to the freeway, and they have like ruins, and there's actually a ball court there. That's where they used to play. It's crazy.
Touch on what you was talking about with Montezuma. I went there with my consort a couple of weeks ago, and her and I were the only Moors, you know, there. Everybody else there was, you know, European, hybrid, and the energy there was just crazy.
How do you look at you?
Like unsure, you know, me and my girl know who we are standing there, you know, we listening to the ranger speak and whatnot, and the ranger was saying something about there being a fire at Montezuma Castle, and they didn't know what the reason was behind it or whatnot. My lady, go off, man.
Y'all know why. Well, I tried to burn it down.
You got the lake, you got the well. When you go up top and you look down into the well, it looks absolutely nasty. But it filters out through the mountain on the other side, crystal clear. Did you taste the water?
No.
They try to tell you all you can't do it because it's poison. It's garbage. We taste it, we drink the water. And it's good.
The energy there
it's all insane. Because once it goes to the mountain, it filters out the cold and all that, filters it out and makes it really, really clear. Like if you go to the beach and you just start digging down at the beach, right? If you get down so far, the sand turns black and the water comes up, right? And you can drink the water right there, right out of that little hole that you dug up. And you don't taste no fish, you don't taste none of that stuff like that. It's absolutely right.
It's going on 2:32. So we're probably gonna make our rounds right now. Any other questions or comments? We'll get those last ones out because I'm sure these people are are on their time. Sure. It's like every other library around here.
I just want to say thanks, Cujo, for coming out.
Islam, bro. Thank you, Morris.
At the Sanford building in North Carolina some years ago.
Yeah.
And this is the second time I get to press hands with you, brother. I'm just thank you that
Islam.
you came out.
Give thanks, Morris. Honors to you, Morris, for real. For real. Islam.
How did you learn about Moorish science?
Came through all the different schools of thoughts. Rasta school, Kemetic school.
I hear your accent.
Yeah. came through all that, and then saw a picture of Noble Drew Ali, and and I always been, once I came into consciousness, that's like probably mid-90s or whatever. We always been studying, always had libraries, always watching lectures and all that, and this guy never came up ever. Never.
Yeah, this is the most I've heard.
Never seen him, never, so, that just sparked it right there. Just from the attire alone, I was like, okay, I need to know what the hell's going on, because I never seen this brother ever from anybody. All these different teachers and all that, and going to lectures and whatever, nobody bringing this dude up. And then researching and taking a trip to Chicago to go visit the temple out there and seeing it in action, seeing Moors, seeing the unity, seeing all these things that, in the Negro, black, colored, metaphysical, whatever, we're trying to find this thing right here, where, brothers are brothers for real, and sisters are sisters for real, and, we could have disagreements, and it's not a fight and all that, and there's no, well, that, you should this, should that, whatever like that. It was just all peace. It was just all 5 principles.
Is still there?
I was in. No, that temple, same thing happened. Infiltration. They were doing stuff. Yeah, they were doing good work out there. They were at 80. They were on South Cottage Grove, 8126. South Cottage Grove, and they started doing.
Is it for sale now?
No, they lost that plot a while now. Yeah, that body fell apart a while ago. But all the Moors are still, they're still around. They're just not in the temple structure, but those Moors are still around. But yeah, once I got that, once I had that sip, that was it. I was in, because from what I saw, it was similar like this. You see feathers, turbans, like this is a real thing. Like, this is not just some obscure or whatever like this. And then you do your research, and you start connecting with other Moors and building with Moors and stuff like that, and you realize that it's real, So I was in from then, and being part of this, it's been awakening, enlightening, you name it, everything I wanted. This is where it's at. And I've gotten out of it more than I could even say. The worth of what it is. It's just knowing the truth and knowing the divine truth, knowing the real truth, not knowing the truth that, somebody just made up some stuff or whatever, it stuck with me.
Just think about all the attacks you've been under.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You withstand it all. I mean, I watch it all the time.
Yeah.
You withstand it all. Like, bam. Like I every time you do something, I call it, you got them.
Yeah.
They come out, they put this out there on you, you be like, you know what I'm saying? You got them, and it's like you can't beat. They can't beat you because you stand on the principles. That's the thing about it. They will never beat you because you stand on principles.
Yeah.
And all I got you. It's just that simple.
And again, like I don't have a fallback. You know what I mean? Like if there was something that happened in the Moorish paradigm that, oh my gosh, I'm not going to be a Moor. Like that ain't happening. Like I'm in. There's no going around this for anything else for me. Like I tried everything else, and everything else, that water's trash. You know, I'm gonna drink this right here. You know. So any more questions, comments?
I want to tell everybody, if you haven't seen this, when you go home, type in on YouTube, The Prophet and His People. And the reason why I want you to watch that is because when I watched that, me and my wife watched that movie talking about the prophet and the people, it had us in tears. I mean, it's just such a movie. It just had me in tears. And I guarantee you watch it, you're going to cry. Yeah. That movie talks about how we came about. It talks a lot about the prophet, what his mission was. And just the music alone, man, it would just have me crying.
I'll tell you this.
In a good way.
Yeah. The wake up cry.
I know this stuff is real because I ran across. Y'all know about the annexation of Texas, right? Which is Mauritania and the Moorish people and their Indian associates. So I was reading that one day and I came across a name called Nathaniel Macon. I'm a Macon, right? By brother, you know, I'm a Macon. So I said, wait a minute, let me go find out who this dude was because they were speaking so highly of him. Now, when I went back to find out, so I went online and I typed in his name and I ran across this book called Gideon Macon and Associate Families, right? Which is basically all it is a it's a wheel. It's a bunch of wheels of different people who lived at a certain time. And as I was reading the book, it's a 554-page book, and it actually it's in the Library of Congress is basically how I downloaded it. And as I was reading through it, I got down to like maybe about page 30, somewhere around there. And then in the little bitty, caption down there, I saw the name Ali. And they was talking about, well, not Ali, Drew. You gotta know who John Drew is.
John Drew,
right?
yeah.
Right. So they was talking about John Drew in this book that's in my family lineage, right? One of the women of the family at the time, I think her name was Edie Turner, was actually the executrix of one of the Macon's will. And I said, wait a minute, what? These people talking about John Drew in this book right here. And then it just made me dig into more and more research, and it took me back to what? E. Turner, who was what? The Tunica, which led me on to right up to Noble Drew Ali. And then I just kept following the history. And then of course I jumped on 23andMe, and bam, what I do, they take me right back to the Turner. So I know all this stuff.
I just wanted to say something that was talked about earlier. In 1955, 56, it was Frank L. that Turner, and C and Bay was before that. It was Frank L. You know what I'm talking about? Frank L. who helped negotiate the 1956 releasing of the flag back to Morocco.
Very interesting. Yeah, must be.
Like Frank L. did a lot. And especially up in New York, Connecticut, and that area.
Islam.
It's crazy feel right there. That was crazy.
Yeah.
I always wonder why did they do that to make us take Morocco and put it back over there? I always wonder why they did that with the flag.
Well, Morocco lost its flag to France, and they had their independence, and that's how they got the flag back into Morocco.
Yeah, because they used to be the protector for the Moors here. Because when you read the papers, they're going to tell you that they were the protector for the Moors, the nationals of Morocco here. That's what he's saying.
That's why you got to study. That's why you got to study.
And actually, Morocco is in Indiana. I used to live there, so.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. There's a lot more. Brother Reggie, give thanks. Appreciate it. Give thanks. Yeah, we're working on next year already. So, but yeah, this is what it's about. You know what I mean? Getting the Moors together and seeing where we could take it. You know, honors to everybody for being here. We got we're done here at 3, so we have some time. We'll figure out what we're gonna do or whatever, whoever's free, and we'll go from there. Any other closing remarks, comments? Oh yeah, we also have to commemorate the day with a picture. So if anybody has to leave fast, give us 5 minutes of your time so we could document our event.
We also need an internet picture so we can
blast
them on. Y'all should have been here. I told you should have been here, and you missed it.
You missed it. You have any closing remarks, Brother Reggie?
Glad y'all came out. Brother Cujo came out here.
Give thanks, boy.
Yeah, always been talking since in the last year. Have you come out?
Yeah, probably, yeah. Somewhere around there, yeah. For the year we've been planning.
We might be working on next year, bringing them out here.
Yeah.
Y'all can come back.
Yeah.
I have been looking for a while to try and find,
Hopefully there's more organization,
just connect with some brothers that, have the knowledge and where I can grow and, because like he said, he got kids, I got kids at home and like what, being enlightened, so, like how they say whatever, I just came to realize, who you are, and then when you start talking to people that is not on the same level, they start thinking you crazy.
You're crazy. All the crazies are in here right now,
See what's going on.
Yeah.
I mean, if the society is crazy, bro, they're gonna think you're crazy.
Yeah.
I got one last thing. Everybody knows but you.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta remember that. Because I've been to Moor 100. Everywhere I go, they know me. They come and say, "Oh, you're Moor?" I'm like, they already know.
Yeah.
So you know what I'm saying? All you gotta do is be yourself. That's it.
A lot of people know, especially out here. I was in a convenience store. I forgot where they was from. They were so happy to see me with a fez on.
Yeah.
They said, we see that in the East. We said, we glad. We got to Bush. I said, same thing. So They know.
Yeah. One thing I was gonna say too was when you getting into the info, somebody had said it earlier about I think the mother was talking about it. Yeah, it's like a detox. You have to get all the old stuff out by putting new stuff in. You know what I mean? So getting with these Moors, you'll get the stuff that's needed, put it in. But why I was bringing that up was because I could hear Moors in my ear or whatever. Well, we don't call them kids or whatever like that, right? So going back to the same thing with the language, that as you study and all that stuff, you start learning all these things and correcting the language is part of the detox program. So like when you hear yourself say things, or you hear somebody say, "Oh yeah, black people" or whatever, you get, your skin starts crawling and all that stuff. You start shaking off, like, "Nah, we're not black," or whatever like that. You know what I mean?
Don't be afraid to call the European European.
Yeah.
They understand.
Yeah. So we would say, so for kids, we would say, heirs, children, offspring. You try to stay away from the baby goats. Yeah.
Either here, you
What our brother said at the very beginning, administration is what really going to protect.
Yeah. Sorry, say that again, Mark.
What our brother said in the very beginning of those records, administratively, as belongs to the temple, is really what's going to protect your children. Mm-hmm. Because once you're in it, your children are protected.
Automatically,
they are They look at children as being property. We don't look at it, but it's your property. And so, since you are a political policy, nobody has the right to come between your God and your law system. Right? So that's what the protection is.
Islam.
What, I came in this in 77. It took me 3 prison terms to get into this.
Yeah.
What? In 77 I went to prison, and the Moors, oh, there's time I looked up there. I was, so-called die-hard Christian. So they knew when I was leaving where I did. So I thought I bought them off. And I went to Texas, and they put me in a cell with a Muslim. He said, I said, oh, no, I can't do that.
Yeah.
So the third time I go back in Michigan, and here they are again. I said, he said, look, brother, you don't like what you say here? He's saying, John, I'm going to say Islam and speak your peace. I said, okay, I'm going to go to the Bible. He's from Christianity. So I go into a meeting and I'm sitting there, I'm just waiting. Chairman gets up and says, any Negro, black, colored, and them things out here in the audience. My hands started to go up. Suddenly inside, I said, well, don't do that. I put my hand down and he said, good, because there's no such thing, and he told me.
Yeah.
From that point on, I said,
Islam.
But don't throw away your Bible, bro.
But it just cracked me up, because I think about that now, back then, 3 prison terms to get into this.
Yeah.
But that was my karma.
I was what? I was 2.
I want to thank the sister and brothers for writing.
Islam. Yeah. Islam.
I posted it on the whole week. I put it on the whole week. Every day. I said, I'm going to whiskey. I put it on every day.
Every day, but you just sent it to me last night.
This is my You must be looking at my post. I just said to you all that stuff. You don't need to.
Yeah, brother, I hope you have that. I hope you get a chance to get on my brother Commissioner Ubay. He wanted to know if it was going to be a live stream because he wanted to jump in and listen to it.
Over, yeah.
You know Commissioner Ubay.
Yeah. Islam, Moors. So we just close out and give thanks again. It was a great time. Islam. We understand the Moors in the chat. They see you. Yes, I think we'll after we close out, we'll just all the men, we could just get the chairs, stack them in a corner or something, and we'll.
I would suggest everybody check their list and ask everybody their number on your list. Just make sure. Just to make
Get those contacts. Islam, Moors. Yes. Thank you. Glad you heard it. Yeah, there's a couple up there, not too much.
You're selling them, right?
Yeah, it's like 20 for everything there.
20 for everything?
Yeah.
Can you touch?
Yeah.
I'll try.
Everybody go. Like you call everybody.
I was just waiting for brother to come back from Washington.
Is there shirts, right?
Yeah. XL.
Oh, yeah.
This one definitely looks interesting. Which one would you suggest, brother? Man, I can't lie, man. I listened to so many of your lives
For real.
on YouTube, all of that, man.
Thanks, yo.
For years, man. Just get out there.
Everywhere.
I can hear the voice, put a face to the voice and all
At the
that.
back, like you're watching it.
Yes, just like on the channel. To absorb it all. If you were to say which one of these would be a good, they all jewels, right? Which one?
For sure, but I would say that's the next best one. Thanks. Oh, brother Reggie, you back? Okay. No, just checking to see if you're back, so we can close out.
Oh, yeah, I'm back.
This time, Morris, we'll just close out and we'll just face the east and get our prayer. 5 on the left, 2 on the right. Allah, the Father of the universe, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation. By night and by day, to our holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, Islam, Moors. If nobody's scared of the camera, just to say what's up to those Moors in the chat.
Islam.
Peace and love.
Islam.
Oh, okay.
Islam, peace to all.
Islam, peace. Islam fam.
Islam family.
We're trying to send it to you already. It's nuts. It's been forever.
Hey, look at my phone.
That's it. But it's
Peace.
Sure, you got
Oh, yeah, no network.
yeah, okay. It's crazy. See? We're trying to send it to you for a long time. You ain't get it, huh? You took the picture, cool y'all? You took the picture?
That's why.
So your mom, man, floodgate will start.
What? You know they came out of business.
Really?
Yeah. Right here.
Yeah, we're trying to get everybody in that box right there.
Yeah, they sent the states from I was applying for this.
This was
Yeah, look, this is like
Moor.
not gonna get the straight.
Oh, yeah, okay.
We're trying to fit ourselves. We're trying to fit ourselves in there. We're trying to fit ourselves in there. So it's just good.
Shorty's in the front.
I can't see them.
Yeah, we'll have 10 seconds. So.
Yeah. When ready, you had to put your face on here.
That's all right. I'm here and present. I'm here. We got two right. That's we got the books.
Yeah, that's Brother Reggie. For 20 and the shirts are 24.
Oh, well, yeah, we got it. Cujo, one more.
Oh, yeah.
I got one too.
Yeah, he does some good stuff. You like, oh, man.
All right, one more.
Yes, I got it right here.
All right.
Brothers. Oh, who was it taking? Me? I got it. I got
She might want to be my show.
Yes, sir.
All right, that's long. Thank you.
When you go.
I know you can see me.
Yeah, Moor, you're out here. Islam. About to get out of here, Moors, before they kick us out. Before they call the highwaymen. Islam Moors, before they call